Still no reinstallation of the cup holder for the record.
Good. I don't think anybody really wants it, though.
No, nobody does.
No. They'll put it back in on principle.
You think so?
I hope so.
Just
you're stuck with it.
The principle of like, no, we offered an improvement to the studio, and we're going to keep it there.
Yeah, it belongs there.
I'll probably break it again.
I kept waking up last night. I took my shot Afrin again, just I could my nose was stuffy. But I watched a show before I went to bed. You know how these weird series on Netflix that you never heard of before?
Sure.
Where it's like, it was on, Investigate Discovery one time. This was called Strange and Curious Deaths.
You decided, all right, it's getting to be that time of the evening. I need to wind down a little bit. What am I going to watch? What am I going to take a look at before I go to bed? Oh, Strange and Curious Deaths is on Netflix.
Well, it wasn't. It was like one of those 30-minute shows. There's a million of them are hour shows where they highlight 3 strange deaths. It was kind of cheesy. It's not like a scary show. It's very cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them I watched upset me so much that I kept sitting up in bed. There was one of a guy who was like a chemist, and he was chewing bubble gum, and he would dip his gum in this stuff and then chew it like this flavored citric acid.
Just because he liked the taste?
While he was working, he was trying to make fireworks, but then he dipped his gum.
Wait. So he's trying to make fireworks, and he dips his gum in one of the citric acid chemicals?
Which is totally healthy. It's fine. It's natural. There's nothing bad. It gives it like a citrus taste.
Can you just get another piece of gum?
Well, that's what he was doing, but he just liked a lot of flavor. Mm-hmm. But he dipped it in the wrong one. He dipped it in one that was an explosive chemical, and then he started chewing it, and he exploded. That was a great death. That brought me joy.
He's like the evil version of Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Gum that will make your head explode.
Yeah, and he falls back and he dies. And
is that what happened? It blew up in his mouth?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
The friction of his teeth.
What an asshole.
Yeah, he's a total asshole.
Like, see, this is what I mean. Like, that stuff like that, you go, oh, it's totally normal. It's just citric acid. If you had just controlled yourself and realized gum has enough flavor, if you want another piece of gum, get another piece of gum. You wouldn't have blown your face off.
That was a very avoidable.
Very avoidable.
But the one that got me wasn't that one. It was also avoidable, the one that got me. I had to. They do fake names, so you have to Google the story. But there was a cave.
You have to. What are you Googling the story to find out, like, all the details that they weren't saying?
Well, or just that they couldn't say in a short show. And this was a guy in Utah. He was what they call like a...
Carl Malone?
No. It was John Stockton. You read the same story. No. He was He was a cave crawler. And he went into this cave called, I forget what it was called. Like, look up caves in Utah. It's got a really weird name.
Is a cave crawler just somebody who finds caves and just explores?
Yeah, but they find small, tight caves.
What's wrong with people?
Dude, I don't... It's like a really weird name. And the guy, they said his name was Dave in the TV show.
Look up tiny little cave in Utah.
He was crawling...
Utah cave death, maybe.
Yes. He was crawling... In these little unexplored caves, and he got stuck. And he got stuck going downward. And he had a friend come, and John Jones was his real name. And they went, and his friend went and tried to pull him out, and he couldn't. So he brought a rescue crew in, and they couldn't get him out. And look at the photo. Go back and find the photo. There's photos of where...
By the way, he's just this, like, very typical, young-looking kid. How old was he?
26. John Jones cave death, yeah. And then look at the photos. You'll see one where they show... Those are just rescuers. We're looking for one where they show his feet going down into the... Nope, that's not it. Keep going down. I'll show you. Hold on.
Is that one right there?
Wait.
With the bottom of the boots?
Let me see. Go back
at the top
up.
of the page?
No, that's not it. That's not it. They show his feet sticking out, and it fucking... I couldn't...
So what do they do? So the guy goes into the cave. His friend tries to pull him out. There's a rescue crew there.
And they can't get him out. And he was hanging upside down for 27 hours, and he died. And his body is still in the cave. They never got his body out. His family was outside the cave waiting for him. Go back up the other way, buddy. I'm trying this fucking one picture, because it was a real photo of his feet while he was trapped.
Is that
no,
one?
That's not it. That's not it.
Oh, that's so scary and claustrophobic. Oh my God.
Look at his feet sticking up. And what happened was he was crawling down this hole. And they said the way you do it...
He's, by the way, one of the true dickheads for doing this as a hobby to begin with.
It's insanity. When they get to a point that's particularly tight, you go... You breathe out to flatten your body, and then you slither. And at one point, as he was going down, there was a sharp angle, and he just got stuck. And he couldn't back up because there was his ribs got caught in a rock or some shit.
So how did he die? Did they just have to... Did they kill him?
No. They tried pulling him back. They hooked up a whole pulley system. They tried like fucking hitting the rocks and drilling the rocks. They couldn't get him out.
Did they say if he was panicking or?
They didn't say, but I'm imagining that they said what happened was his friend couldn't get him back. He was screaming because I guess his rib was broken. And then when they pulleyed him back, finally after 10 hours, they were able to pull him back and pull him back a little bit. So he was able to I guess move his arm a bit and take his first sip of water in 10 hours. But then one of the pulleys broke and he slid right back to where he was.
Oh my God!
He slid right back to where he was, but then he got wedged in more.
So he thinks for a second, okay, I had this sip of water. Okay, there is something slowly happening, and everything is moving in a positive direction. And he's back exactly where he was.
And this is, they said it was because it was a winding thing. So they couldn't even just yank him back as hard as they could because they said both his legs probably would have broken. Which at that point,
Who gives a fuck?
Well, at that point, they probably couldn't even give an epidural. I was thinking, why'd they give an epidural like a pregnant woman and just just numb him and then break his legs? But when I'm looking at that picture, there was just probably no way to do it without killing him because he was upside down.
Epidural's in the spine, so
right.
He
couldn't get to it.
So how did he die?
They said they don't know exactly. They think that after all those hours, hanging upside down is very bad for you for that long because your body, the blood, yeah. But they said that he might have just gave up and he died. Like whatever killed him, they don't know exactly. But just from hanging in a cave for 27 hours,
Jesus Christ.
And they just decided to leave it. They couldn't get his body out. His body's still there. They sealed up the cave.
It hasn't rotted away or something?
Oh, I don't know what happened to it. That was in 2009. They sealed it up. The cave, but they never got his body out. So I kept sitting up in bed, breathing, and I googled that image, and I shouldn't have googled.
Why?
Oh, there's an image. Go for the map of where he's.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, this story is making it so that I can't sleep well. I need some more details.
No, wait. No, you just keep looking.
I get it.
Different map. Go for Utah cave. Take out death.
I can never understand when people decide because these natural things are the things that we have no control over.
That's where look at the cave. Look at the pattern that he had to crawl in, and look at where he was.
He's just in this little pit kind of.
And he can't. And that pit keeps going, but they couldn't even yank him up because it was all, his feet were hitting the ceiling. I don't know how the fuck he got down there, but he probably slithered then just pushed himself down.
What a dickhead! Don't be a cave. Nobody should ever be a cave crawler. It's not a profession or a hobby that anyone should have.
That's just a really scary way to die.
Can you imagine the moment of elation when you think you're going to be?
That's the craziest part.
10 hours later. And they said he took a sip of water. And they had a whole, but when you look at where they rigged the pulley system, they couldn't even pull with they had a bunch of guys, but they had to do it through pulleys. And
so dark in there too. It's a cave.
It's pitch black.
I got freaked out. Just I remember when we went to Hawaii after we got married, there was this, because there's all kinds
Did Mr. Hanalei bring you into a cave?
No. There's all kinds of, rock structures and water and all there. So, but there's we saw this area that's a big cave, but you could go in safely, it's giant, and it was water. But what you could do was go underwater and swim under this giant cave. You could swim under it and get out to the water by the beach. And but it was pitch black, and it was a big cave.
Yeah, but you were allowed to do it, and the public was doing it?
No,
safe.
No, you weren't allowed to. It wasn't this attraction. It was just a couple of locals would do it for fun. But it was large enough that there was no way any light was getting down there.
Well, how long did you have to be underwater for?
I don't know, 30 seconds or something. That's if you knew what you were doing. Yeah, it was long.
Because you could get lost.
But even just looking at that, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, that's drowning is a bad death. Hanging upside down for 27 hours is the worst.
The worst.
Is that photo terrible?
Especially that moment. That's because you have to. The first 10 hours, he probably thought this is horrible, but they're going to get me out. And then when you take your sip of water and you slide right back into where you were, that's when you go oh my God, this could be it.
It's like I'm trying to get the ball back from Sandlot.
Yeah.
You got it.
You got it.
Just pull it up.
And then guess what? The beast takes it right back.
And dude, he couldn't even push himself back. How helpless would that feel to not be able to push yourself back up?
And you just realize
there's a rock in your ribs and you can't even suck it anymore and wrap your ribs around.
Plus,
it was 10 inches high or something. It was very, very narrow.
Plus, you have to at some point be why did I do this? It was totally avoidable. Why did I do this? Why did I crawl into this stupid cave?
I don't understand why they would do that. They said the cave's popularity had caused excessive smoothing of the rock inside the cave to the point it was predicted a fatality would occur in one of the cave's more promising features, a 45-degree room called the Big Slide. Oh, because the rocks were people would slide in. I guess that's why they would slide more than they were supposed to. Well, I'm just reading this. A gate was installed and the cave was temporarily closed, but property management was established and an application process was developed to ensure safety precautions were being met.
They should really make it sound scarier. You don't think it's a big deal going down the Big Slide in the Nutty Putty Cave.
Yeah,
Nutty
really.
Putty, that was it, yeah.
I'm going to find the Big Slide. Where is that? The Nutty Putty Cave?
Yeah, that sounds like something kids can do.
Well, of course it does. It sounds like it's a McDonald's play place. I think there's a ball pit at the end of this. No, it's just a place where people die.
There's a movie about it. I didn't know that. Called The Last Descent.
Yeah, but the fact that it came out in 2016 and none of us knew about it, when 127 Hours came out or whatever that movie was called with James Franco.
He also lived.
Yeah, but we all knew about it.
This
You know
is
why?
depressing.
Because it was a good movie.
I want to see. Yeah, I don't care if it's a good movie. I want to see the way they paint, because the movie will probably make it at least show you what it looked like to be where he was. That I'm curious about.
But it's fiction. It's fake. We saw the photos.
Yeah, I know, but you can't see from his point of view or exactly how narrow that cave is.
Why do you want? You need more detail.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Wow.
Oh, he's just sitting there. It looks like a Buried Alive movie.
Oh boy.
The camera's just tight on his face.
Yeah, but I want to see like how narrow the.
And he's just stuck in there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the movie looks like shit.
Oh wait, I think it might have dropped off. I think the opening he was coming through might have had a 60 or 70, some kind of a 70-meter drop off. I don't know.
So you weren't like, oh, look at this. Netflix has like Degrassi, The Next Generation, or something like, oh, there's a new season of Gilmore Girls. Maybe I'll check that out.
No,
you
I
were
was
like,
just watching something different.
PG. It's not going to be.
No, it wasn't even good. It wasn't even good, the fucking show. It was
No, I'm talking about the movie.
but it doesn't matter. You know,
it looks like a horrible movie.
18
inches wide.
18 inches wide.
My God.
I wonder if they have him.
And you die in the Nutty Putty Cave. Oh, where did he die? Oh, he got lost and stuck in the Nutty Putty.
But they said that his body was too dangerous to take his body out. But at that point, can't you just fucking break it? No, I mean, by the time when he died, there was danger to rescue workers. So why couldn't they just fucking break his legs and haul him through? How hard is that?
Yeah,
Pull his mauled body out.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, just who cares? Maybe there'll be something left of him. If you kill him as you're trying to rescue him, big deal. At least he's not stuck in a cave.
I know. I would want to be just say, drug me up and yank me the fuck through. I don't care if four of my ribs are broken. Look at him hanging.
How are you gonna drug him up? You just got to slip him a bunch of pills or something down
Through
the
his back of his leg. There's ways to do it, I'm sure.
Man.
He's very claustrophobic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would do this to yourself.
I'm gonna watch this movie. Do you not like claustrophobic stuff?
Well, the movie looks terrible.
Doesn't matter. I just want to see. I want to see the dynamics of him being trapped.
But it
in
looks
there.
very poorly done.
I don't care.
You just watch it.
Yeah, why not?
Oh my God, Riley in Texas.
Oh, she's too young to be calling up.
No, it's a different person.
Oh.
Welcome to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts
Oh man, y'all need
on
to
this
shut the fuck up,
claustrophobic
man.
Thursday.
Yeah. What's up, Riley?
Jesus Christ, y'all need to shut up about this shit.
Why?
God, I'm driving to work having a panic attack thinking about this little fucking. Oh,
It's just one of those decisions that you make. Like, you know what? Plus, what did you say? He was 26. So if he's 26, he's still invincible in his mind. So he's, I'm going to go down. I'm just going to have some fun. This was just a normal day for him. He didn't set out like the night before being like, tomorrow's the big day that I explore the Nutty Putty. He's like, yeah, we'll go explore that cave. And he's crawling around, and he just sat there and slowly died over the course of 27 hours.
Well, there's some message board, and they're saying they're wondering why they didn't get his body. And they said the family was not really given another option. It felt that further recovery attempts the following day would have been too risky to the recovery team, and the body would not be able to be retrieved in one piece. Yeah, they probably figured it would have just been a disaster. They were unselfishly accept the reality that the family just said, fuck it, they just leave him there, so then nobody gets hurt trying to get his body.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that moment he got stuck, he had no idea that he was never getting out. Like his body was going to be there for forever.
Forever. That's it.
That creeps me out so much.
That's the end
He's
of everything.
Still fucking there. They sealed him in the black.
That's why people shouldn't do things where there's a high probability of death. Like, there's very little upside, and the downside is death by force of being trapped in a cave. Like, because if he completes it successfully, then what's he done? He's seen the inside of a very small cave. He's seen rock and dust and maybe a bat. And the downside is death.
Wow.
The worst part to me is the gradual realization
Yeah.
of, all right, this isn't bad. I can get out. And then,
Oh.
Yeah, fuck,
Then
I'm
you call
stuck.
your friend.
Oh, goddamn, my rib. Like, oh, no, I think my rib's broken. Like, this really hurts. But, okay, the pulleys are being set up. We're good.
and then
Okay,
at
I
a
got
certain
it.
point, you're dying.
Yeah.
Oh, they said another pulley. These are questions. I'm confused. Why, if the rescuers had made progress until the pulley failed, why didn't they hook up another pulley at that time? And they said another rigging was completed, but by the time it was ready to go, John had given up strength. And without his ability to help, it was just not possible to move him. Wow. I guess by then it was just, I guess we forget that it was so narrow. It's a 12-inch thing. You're hooking up a pulley system. It's a fucking long, arduous
And
process.
in the diagram that they showed, the rescuers were far away from him. It's not like they were able to set up pulleys and were like pulling him up within a foot of his ankles. Like they were way far at the other end of the cave because they were like, we're not going all the way down there.
They couldn't.
Right.
Well, they couldn't. It was too narrow. You couldn't stand. Let me see the download of the older map and put it in perspective. We can move on to.
Plus, it would take a true horse's ass to climb all the way down there.
Oh, that's the old map. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
That was really free. But I kept waking up thinking, my God, I'm so glad I'm not there.
And stuck in the cave.
Dude, it was really freaking
It's very
me out.
easily avoidable, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. See, we all do dumb shit in life. And for some people, it's urban climbing. And for other people, it's this. I don't get it. But the bottom line is, even though it's stupid, once you do it and you're stuck, what is it like?
I put this, like, all this stuff, like, I put this in the same category as people that dive with sharks. to get in the shark cage. And I got because sometimes something happens, and there's not a ton of upside. You can see a shark on YouTube. It's the same. Everything's fine. I put it in that same category. Base jumpers are in the same category. Even people that decide to drive drunk, like regularly, are in the same category. Because it's just one of those things where even if you don't kill yourself, you end up getting into a car accident, killing somebody else, whatever.
Right.
And you could be sitting in jail just realizing if I just fucking Ubered home, I would just be living my life.
There's PSAs about that.
Are there?
Yeah.
There's a guy here. I have wedged myself. Someone said, I don't understand how do you wedge yourself and you can't get out. It seems horrifying. And he wrote, I've wedged myself in several passages, but never one that he didn't have a smaller person in front of him and the person behind him talking him through it. And he had, I guess he
So
went with
stupid.
people, but he said he always had light with him. And he goes, you do get claustrophobic and you have to tell yourself to calm down.
No, you don't have to tell yourself to calm down. The reason you get claustrophobic and you're not calm is because you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. If he had listened,
He's a rescuer.
if he had listened to the voice in his head that was like, I am panicking, I shouldn't be doing this, he wouldn't have done it, and then he wouldn't be dead in a cave for the last 8 years. He's been there for 8 years. 2009 is when this happened.
Yeah. No, other way, buddy. Wow. All right. Well, it's just freaking me out. I didn't know all this information was online. It was like literally, I was hanging out with a friend and we were just watching something. And watch Netflix and chill. And that was exactly what we did.
Let's go to, was there something, were you watching this with somebody?
Yeah, it was just like, hey, we had dinner. And I was like, let's just watch, come watch something for a little while. And I went to bed, not too late.
You have the sickest game ever.
What? Oh, yeah.
This is your selection.
Netflix and Panic.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
Let's watch Netflix and Panic.
Let's watch Netflix and wake up in cold sweats.
It was driving. But that
Thanking God
photo
I'm not
did
in a
it.
cave.
That photo of the feet, because that's real, and those were his real feet. And I'm like, to be that helpless, there's no way out of that. You simply can't. Your shins can't bend back the other way.
And you're upside down. You got no leverage on anything.
No, and I don't even know if his hands could grab anything. I just don't know.
I'd be looking for a rock to just smash myself in the face with.
No, there's nowhere to move.
Nothing.
I've looked for that too for you.
Matt in Jersey, welcome to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Hey, thanks, guys. Nice to talk to you. Just to up the game in terms of hopelessness and terror and death, a 13-year-old girl in Colombia in 1985 got trapped and lived for 60 hours, and there's a video of her dying and speaking to her family and talking to her mom and dad.
What'd she get trapped in?
There was mud and ice and debris, and the water went right up to her neck. And as the water was rising, they're filming her, and she's talking. Holy shit, it's intense and tragic, and it's really heavy.
Wait a minute. Oh, wow. They're trapped in water for 55 hours. So why couldn't they get her out? Like, I don't understand. Like, what they're videotaping? Let's just see where she is. Is she in a cave?
No, she's not in a cave. She's out in a street, Jim.
Because there was
her
flooding.
Legs got trapped. Yeah, there was flooding, and her legs got trapped under wood. And as the flooding went up and up and up, I think she wound up with an infection and gangrene. Her eyes wound up going black because of all the pressure, and the buildup of the blood just went right up to her neck. And finally, she
If your
died.
legs are trapped like that, and it's been more than a few hours, cut the motherfuckers off.
Couldn't they send a
No.
what?
They couldn't get divers down or anything because it was too muddy. It was too unsafe.
Oh, because it was
there was no.
It wasn't even water. I guess, and if it was giving her gangrene, obviously it wasn't.
What was her
clean.
legs trapped under? Oh, 55 hours. That sucks. There was just a flood that happened?
No. There was a volcano erupted, and a lot of some mud and ice traveled down the mountain, and flooded the town. And she was just the one person who didn't get killed, who got trapped, who couldn't get out.
They're like, oh, I made it. The volcano erupted, and I made it. I'm still alive.
And they couldn't.
Yeah.
And there was no way they could film it. Could they get near her at all?
Oh, they were right up to her face, Jimmy. They were sitting in front of her, talking to her, and telling her, that she was going to be okay and she was going to die, and she was telling her parents that she loved them. If you go on Live Leak, you can find the video.
Yeah, I don't want to see the video.
subtitles.
Yeah, we don't have to watch the video. Probably just too depressing.
That's something for Jim's personal life. I don't need to see that.
I'll watch it later.
Yeah, of course you're going to watch it later.
Wait, buried the entire town. Oh, wow.
Check out the I don't know if you're at the Wikipedia page, Jim, but look at the picture of the girl's face.
No, we were looking at it, and you can see her eyes turn black and everything. Yeah, I don't need to see it. This is for Jim. Jim, you can say these for your bedtime stories tonight.
I won't watch that one late. That would just be upsetting. I don't like watching stuff with kids in it. Like, I don't like watching, even those barbaric videos I watch, if it's someone really young, like that, I won't watch the video.
What's your age cutoff?
I don't know, but I don't want to see anything happen to somebody young.
Fontaine in Virginia. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sam. Hey, Jimbo. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Fontaine.
Hey, Travis was mentioning earlier that the signs should be harsh. Well, there's a place near me in Virginia called Crabtree Falls, and it's really, really pretty. But the sign pretty much says, you're going to die here. and they go up there. We probably lose 2 people a year. I don't know if it's Googleable or not, but no death is worse than that one that Keith Robinson took at the roast.
Your phone really did crap out. Fontaine was saying no death was worse than the one Keith Robinson took at the Patrice roast, which was very funny. But you're legit. Listen back to the replay. Your phone really did cut out on the punchline.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, well, he took a good bombing.
Have you seen the Netflix show? I think it's called Captive.
Yes,
It's
I'm like 5 episodes in.
I've only seen. I saw the first 2. I saw the one. I love the prison riot episode.
Oh, I thought it was about Chicago. No, that's not the Captive one.
No, not that one.
Paper won't cover.
No, I saw it's a show about hostages.
Yeah,
and they interview. I can't believe the access that these shows get, because they're doing a show about hostage situations, and they end up getting to interview the criminals. They end up getting to interview the victims, the police, like literally everybody that's involved. They get a hold of.
If the hostage takers are available, and obviously means they've gone to jail already or whatever, or they're being filmed and they're blocking their faces out, like in that. Did you see the Palestinian one that they take over in the church?
No,
it's a really good show.
Yeah, it is a really good show. But they did one, the prison riot. It was here in the States,
in Ohio.
Yeah, in Ohio, and they snuck video cameras. They did some kind of video chatting with some prisoners that were responsible for the riot that are now serving life sentences in other jails.
On death row.
Yeah, they got them on the show.
Yeah, they had some way of, I guess there's a system, an intercom system in the prison where you were videotaped. I guess they videotaped that, but it's rudimentary video, but I mean, I guess that they...
Because you can't film...
You can't film them, yeah.
Yeah, prisoners anymore. But yeah, that one freaks me out too, because it's not as bad, obviously, because not everybody dies, but just the helplessness of being just kidnapped.
And people don't always live.
No, they don't.
And by the way, the worst kidnap story was the fucking the guy John McCain was in the Hanoi Hilton with, who was a pilot. He was the longest held, I want to say was civilian pilot in Vietnam. He was held for 7 years. And going to the Hanoi Hilton, that was actually an upgrade for where he was. He had like one of the worst captivity stories ever. They kept him outside. They kept him tied to the ground, like under a cage that was like right above his face, like horrible shit. Stuff that my sleep apnea would kill me.
You think you'd still have to deal with sleep apnea at that point? I feel like your body would go into shock and maybe not act up with the sleep apnea.
No, I don't think so. No. Your body doesn't. Your body stinks. Your body never protects you. It's like the Exxon fucking guy who was kidnapped. The Exxon executive years ago was kidnapped, and they duct taped his mouth, and he suffocated because he couldn't breathe through his nose in a closet. They were doing it for money, and they didn't realize he was going to die.
You're like, fuck. His nose is stuffy.
I know.
Imagine that panic. He's like, no, like you have to take this off. I can't breathe through my nose.
I won't yell.
Yeah, I really need my mouth to breathe. Let's go to Mike in Jersey. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Hello, Mike.
So when I was 13 years old, I lived in South Jersey, and I go to the beach all the time. And me and my friends, I'm a fancy guy. So me and my friends got in this big fun thing of building gigantic fucking holes in the middle of the beach. So we built one that went down probably like 10 to 15 feet. Then we built another one 10 feet away and dug that 10 feet as well. And then we had a brilliant fucking idea of connecting it via a tunnel at the bottom.
Oh, that's super smart, because what's the worst that could happen?
Well, it could collapse.
Teenagers.
Oh!
Yeah, Jimmy, you stole my line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we dug the tunnel. I was the first one to fucking go through.
And how old are you? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I was 13.
Okay.
So the tunnel fucking collapses. And like I said, we were in upwards of 10 to 15 feet down below. So right immediately when the sand collapses, you try to breathe and you fucking intake more sand. So I was choking on sand, trying to breathe in my nose and my mouth. I lost consciousness. I don't know exactly how long. It's fucking terrifying.
Now, but were you there long enough to like process how terrible this thing that was happening, or did it all happen really fast?
It happened. It was like a snap of a finger. It went from me coming through a tunnel to sand and darkness.
Wow.
And then, but how quickly did you pass out?
I mean, it felt like hours. Clearly, it wasn't. I honestly don't have the exact time.
Are you out now, or are you still there?
Are you calling under a pile of sand right now? Oh, so you kind of know. So you kind of know at least the initial sensation,
the panic
of what a person would feel like if they were buried alive.
It was so fucking embarrassing too, because it became like a local news story. Like the local news showed up and they interviewed the lifeguards. They interviewed me and my fucking family. I was just a fucking like prepubescent asshole covered in sand, and just they banned tunnel digging on the beach. Like I created.
Oh, you made it so kids couldn't dig tunnels anymore.
Well, there was another one of these weird deaths, which I didn't look up the real details. It was like what you were saying, but they were like college students playing football on the beach. Someone had dug a hole when it was wet like that. And then when it dries, the walls become very volatile. So I guess he was running for the football. He didn't know the hole was there, and he fell into it, and the walls fell in on him. And his friends tried to get him out, and then the walls just kept coming in for some reason. They couldn't get it. His friends couldn't pull him out of this fucking hole in the sand.
That's crazy.
Which must be so frustrating.
So you had to sit there as a 13-year-old, and they're like, because you survived it, which means the obvious question is, why the fuck would you build a tunnel in the sand like that?
It was wet.
Yeah, I'd be dead. I mean, I would have been dead, but the luck was we built these holes near lifeguard stands where fucking adults were. So one of my asshole friends was smart enough to run over and get an adult right away. So,
and they pulled you out by your little feet?
You know it. It took a dozen plus people, and I was underground, they said, for like 2.5 to 3 minutes, but I don't know how long it took for me to lose consciousness and all that shit. But you guys really fucked my morning up. You got all the PTSD in me.
That's insane. Thank you,
buddy. Take a deep breath out, panicky.
Yeah, I mean, and just that feeling that he said that, like, he was only there for like 2-3 minutes, and most of the time he was passed out, but he just felt like whatever it was. It's probably like 30 seconds that he was actually conscious underground, but he felt like it was hours.
I would hate that.
I feel like I get bored. Like, you can't check your phone, you can't read anything. Like, if you're just stuck there.
Can't breathe.
Yeah,
can't do any of those things I do to kill time.
What are you going to do?
I like taking a deep breath once in a while. Can't do that.
Steve in Detroit.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, when I was younger, 26 now, happened when I was probably around 12, 13. My dad would take me on all sorts of shitty vacations, and because we were poor. And one of the vacations was Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. And Mammoth Cave is a well-known cave. It's very...
Have you?
I'm sorry?
Yes, no, I've actually been to Mammoth Cave. We went to, because we used to go to Kentucky every summer. There's really not a lot to do in Kentucky. So at one point we made the drive out to
Why was it called Mammoth Cave? Were there woolly mammoths in it?
No, it's just very big.
Oh.
Well, then there's the well-known Mammoth Cave, and then they have a lot of shitty, off-the-beaten-path caves just in a guy's backyard.
Because the Mammoth Cave that I went to, the opening was literally the size of a building. Like, there was no...
Hence the name.
Right. There was no caving anybody in.
Sure.
And we go to a guy's house. He had a big sign in his front yard. It was spray painted with on a plywood, $5 to get in. So the entrance to this guy's cave is in a shed.
So your dad's thinking like, oh,
no idea.
I'm going to go to the $5 cave. This is much better.
It's in a shed? Well, the guy built a shed around the entrance?
Yeah, it was just in a shed, and there was a wooden stairway going down to this guy's cave.
Wow.
So we go down there, we open the door.
Isn't this the way that movie Room starts?
Is it?
No.
Well, we open the door, and there's a bunch of cave spiders on the door. They're these
Is that a racist euphemism? All right, guys.
We don't go for that.
Yeah, we don't go for that here. All right, there's a bunch of caves. I've never seen a cave spider.
Yeah, they're pretty much the creepiest thing. Joe Rogan on Fear Factor, one of the things was they had to eat the cave spider.
Are they deadly? Not if you ate them.
Yes, they are. They took a massive chance on that show.
Okay, so you saw a bunch of cave spiders. Oh my God, those are ugly. I would hate to eat a cave spider.
Oh, they got they're big, and they have very long, thick legs, and then at the top, they have these like kind of horn-looking things, almost like what a scorpion has. They look like claws
with lobsters
with spikes all over them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then maybe they don't. Do they bite? Because the guy's holding it in his hand.
They pinched on Fear Factor. They pinched the lady's lips.
The spider's pinching me.
Oh, she's being pinched.
I'm getting pinched by the spider. I'm trying to eat the spider, but he won't stop pinching me.
How many cave spiders did you see, sir?
There was probably about 2 dozen on the door.
A lot. On the door.
Weird.
On the door. Oh. Yuck. I hate bugs on a door.
The guy with the $5 shed cave didn't clean off the spiders, huh?
Oh, those are fucking horrible.
Yeah, so most caves down there, they're graded by length and difficulty. Well, this guy, his cave didn't have any kind of thing like that.
No,
so it's not even a guided tour. This guy just opens the door, turns the lights on. There's a light system down the cave, and lets us go down by ourselves. And there's holes all over the floor where a 12-year-old boy can easily fall through.
Did you fill out any paperwork before handing over the $5 entrance fee?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I didn't think so.
So we're going down a long tunnel, and the tunnel seems to be getting narrower and narrower. We're not crawling, we're standing up, but the sides of the walls are getting very narrow. And my dad's a bigger guy.
Right.
Well, there was a point where he had to squeeze himself through, and he was going ahead of me. And we went through fine. We went around the cave. On the way back, remember, he's in front of me. He gets stuck.
Oh, no.
He squeezes his stomach in. He's trying to go through the tunnel, and I'm behind him, and he's stuck. There's nothing we can do. We didn't have a cell phone. We had to wait for this guy. We waited for, I think it was about 2-3 hours. I had no way of telling the time. They had to call the fire department. 3 or 4 police officers came. and they basically had to cut my dad's shirt off, grease him up with some kind of oil,
Wow.
and pull him out of there.
They're just rubbing
And
sticks of butter all over him.
Basically, that's what it was.
But the fact that you're stuck behind him, did you try pushing his feet? Like, hey, fat ass, let's go.
God damn it,
I
Dad.
tried pushing him there. He wasn't budging.
I had
Yeah.
I was getting off an elevator with you, Rock once. Sorry, Eric.
Well, before you hang up on me, I have one more question, Jim. It's been bugging me for weeks.
Okay.
Who did you vote for?
I don't talk about politics on the show.
Is that not for you? Why is that?
We don't have pieces of votes are secret.
Oh.
And also, and we will be talking at one point about the obviously the fucking Facebook video, which the press is covering, kind of the way we assumed they'd cover it.
Yeah, we can talk about it now. Speaking of terrible hostage situations and things. So you probably would, like, if you got a copy of the Daily News this morning, you wouldn't know.
No,
if
you
that's
wouldn't.
your source of news. But if you're online or whatever, I would hope it. You'd like to say this was everywhere.
It's not.
It's not everywhere.
You know what it is? It's on NBC's news site, and you wish that it was just covered. Here's what happens. When something like this happens, these 4 black teenagers, I guess, torture this mentally handicapped white guy.
Yeah, so this video breaks out. It's like this 30-minute video. It's on Facebook Live, and it's 4 black people, 18-year-olds, 2 girls, 2 guys. And they have this kid or whatever. I don't know how old the mentally handicapped person was, but they have him. Apparently, they put him in a van. They got him in the suburbs, put him in a van, drove him back to their place in Chicago, tied him up, and then kicking him, punching him. He was like stuck in the corner of their house. They were kicking him. They were punching him. They duct tape his mouth up. They started cutting him with a knife. They cut his clothes all up. At one point, I think they were cutting his skin and flesh and leaving, knife wounds on him. And they were basically cursing at him, saying like, you're a white motherfucker, fuck white people.
Fuck Trump.
And fuck Trump. And it's kind of a big story.
It's a big story, and like this, I think Fox and got it right in Chicago, where they just said, hey, a white guy was tortured by 4 black people because it was racial motives. It wasn't like a robbery. And that's all you ask for. Like, these guys are going to go to jail.
Yes.
The criminal justice system, they're not going to get away with this.
They caught him very quickly.
Very quickly.
The guy, once they let him go, this mentally handicapped dude was just kind of wandering around Chicago, and I guess his family or whoever he stays with had already reported him possibly missing. So they found him. He seemed disoriented. And before they even saw this 30-minute Facebook video, he brought them to the house, and they went in the house, and they arrested the people, and then found this Facebook video that's like, okay, this clarifies everything. And they're smoking weed. They're making terrible decisions. But
Yeah, and they're also, but the problem when something like this happens, it's not the crime. Like that. Okay, these are just 4 pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They're going to go to jail. Crime happens. There's a lot of crime. It happens both ways. We get it. It's not the crime. It's the way they report it that drives you so crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel almost like, all right, people think I'm paranoid, or people think you're paranoid. It's not in the daily newspaper today. It's in the Post on page 21.
And I think, by the way, that people have started to realize, people in the industry anyway, have started to realize that, like, the story is becoming what you're saying. The story is not the hostage thing anymore. The story is that it's not being covered the way a story like this would be covered if some of the roles were reversed.
If it was if that was a black mentally handicapped teenager tortured by 4 white people.
Yeah.
Again, criminal justice system, these guys are going to be dealt with. I'm not saying that white people are victims. It's the press and the way they cover it. And they're all white people. And by the way, the way that they were declared a hate crime, they had a fucking black community activist say it was a hate crime. That's what cowards the white press
But the
are.
police haven't declared it a hate crime.
Well, maybe they will now. I'm sure they will now. But it's just CNN. Someone tweeted something on CNN. There's such fucking cowards on CNN. When that racist white lady went off on that Latin lady, you ever see that video where she's like, "And you come to our country and blah blah blah."
Right.
She was a racist, and they called her out, racially charged rant. And but they that's in their headline, but not for
this one.
So that's the problem people have when we complain about stuff. It really is the fucking press. And, I'm not going to say that's why Trump won, because it has nothing to do with the crime. It's just that people don't speak honestly about this shit.
And you can take it from 2 separate sides. Like, you could absolutely see the clear double standard when it comes to the racial crime. But you can also see on mainstream media is telling us this story of violent Trump supporters that are being violent against people who didn't vote for Trump.
Like ripping off the, what's it called, the hijab? Or how do you say the...
Right, the Muslim garb, whatever it was.
Yeah, that fake story?
Yeah.
That they were all over?
By the way, the fact that it was a fake story hasn't been reported nearly...
Well, not nearly with the same vigor. No,
Right.
it was kind of this... Oh, by the way, we heard that was fake.
Yeah, we reported on this yesterday. We spent all day yesterday on it. Let's take 30 seconds to mention it was fake. Anyway, moving on to the next story. I think we got some dogs outside that we want to take a look at. But nobody is reporting. This isn't the first violent crime that we've seen committed. Like, I mean, that video that was horrifying, that was like a month ago, of the guy getting pulled out of his car, getting the shit kicked out of him.
For being a Trump supporter?
That's like on election day.
On election day. He got pulled out of his car. He got the shit kicked out of him. As he was getting the shit kicked out of him, somebody just got in his car and drove away with it. And it wasn't like this story of... And, we're not saying, or I'm not saying anyway, that you should be sitting there saying, well, it's the people who are against Trump that are violent and the people that are for Trump are great and blah, blah, blah. It's just report on it without a bias.
That's why they're so hated. And that's why, even if you hate Trump, you got to love the fact that he just gives them no respect and he just goes right to YouTube and does a video.
Right.
They're repulsive. CNN, the fact that CNN did that is like... And then people on Twitter go, what about Dylan Roof? Dylan Roof's an animal. Dylan Roof should be killed the way ISIS kills people.
And
should have his throat cut.
And nobody's portrayed him as anything but that.
Right, that's where the media got it right.
Yes,
they
100%.
treated Dylan Roof the way they should have treated Dylan Roof.
Right,
like he was a fucking animal.
The two headlines are: customer goes off in racially charged rant at Shoppers.
A white lady, and that was accurate. She did.
Right.
And then yesterday's headline is 4 arrested in beating broadcast on Facebook Live.
But it's like, why would you not?
Because there's white, and this is not black people, by the way. These are white people.
Yes.
White people make these decisions. Black people, there's not one black guy I've ever met that would look at this. If you look at these 4, this was racist, they'd all go, yeah. Do you know any black guys that would deny that's racially charged? No.
Right.
It's just the white people won't say it.
And even if you want to futz around with the definition of racism, well, technically by definition, the power struggle, fine, racially charged. Just say racially charged. Say racially motivated.
Yeah.
Say something about the fact that they found this white kid who was probably walking around saying something about Trump. For some reason, they knew he was a Trump supporter. However, and that was the sole motivation. He didn't have any cash. They didn't ransom him.
I think from what I read, he knew one of them. Like he went into the van willingly.
Okay.
Oh,
because I think they went to the same school. Even though he doesn't live in Chicago, he goes to school where
probably some special needs thing, or
probably because he's mentally handicapped.
But can you imagine it reversed? Like, just imagine the coverage reversed. Again, the fact that they're going to go to jail, and no one's saying that they're not going to be processed by the criminal justice system.
Fuck Obama and fuck white people.
Can you imagine? Say you love white people. Say you love white people. To a mentally handicapped black guy. Just reverse it.
It would be, it would be portrayed fairly, by the way, because the white people doing it would be talked about as if they were monsters.
And racists, yes.
And fair. Like, they are monsters. But the people this is a monstrous thing to do to somebody.
Yeah.
And to put it up, I mean... It was nice that in this day and age there are some youth that still believe in posterity and saving things. It was nice that you videoed it and put it out on Facebook Live to share with their friends and stuff.
When will people learn that you can't Facebook this shit? Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
But that's like that's the level of disregard for human life that they didn't even think about the fact that what they were doing here is like just destroying someone's basic humanity.
MSNBC, they're covering it. They are talking about it.
What does it say?
I don't. But they just said 14s. For some reason, when it comes to this, the age of the assailants is more important than the motive of the assailants. Or they'll mention the race of the victim, but not the perpetrator. It's just, it's all white people doing it, by the way.
If they'd been a couple years older, it would have been a bunch of 20-somethings kidnapped a kid.
Yeah, I don't know how they would have phrased it. I was wondering, is one of them 20? One guy 20, then what do they do?
Yeah, some folks.
3 teens and an anomaly. How would they have handled that?
Yeah. Young people, millennials kidnap
young people, 4 young people. You know what's funny, man? I get so angry about it. You feel the rage building. Again, I'm not even annoyed at the guys that did it.
Right.
They're arrested.
Well, it's like you also have to and it becomes difficult because you feel that frustration, but you have to remain level-headed enough because if you start getting angry about it, then all that's going to happen is people are going to turn around and say, well, you're not acknowledging all the stuff that white people do and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, it's not about that. I don't think anybody is sitting there saying when white people do racist shit, and lots of white people do lots of racist shit, and they get called on it, and they should get called on it. But you should also call this what it is.
Call black people racist when they behave that way. Yeah, or anybody.
Anybody.
And again, and then they had the one woman on CNN who looked like Bookman from Good Times defending it. But again,
Sanders.
Yeah, you're always going to find one dummy to defend. It's almost like if there's guys that would defend Dylan Roof. She's not important to me. She's just some dumb Democratic strategist from somewhere. Who cares?
And I don't even think most people they're going, well, these 4 people were Black Lives Matter supporters, and I don't think that the Black Lives Matter movement as a whole
supports this.
Would support this. But at the same token, the people who voted for Trump as a whole don't support violence and racism.
Yeah,
but there is no looking at it from that perspective. There's no when somebody who says they support Trump or are white and are saying racist stuff or whatever it is, that's the story. See, we told you. White people are racist, Trump supporters are violent, whatever it is. But when it happens on the other side, it's like, I don't know, these individuals that were acting solely as individual human beings did this, not representative of anything. And you're going, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This was specifically motivated by the election. And I'm pretty sure that those 4 weren't Trump supporters that wanted to cut up another Trump supporter.
It's just, it's amazing how they cover it. And we harp on it, but like sometimes what keeps me from getting too angry anymore is the fact that it's not effective. And I've kind of just come to realize when this happens, I'm just like, well, at least you see it.
Well, people wonder.
At least I see the way the press covers it, and at least I'm right. Like sometimes so if you catch your wife cheating, like, oh, I know she was cheating.
Right.
Hey, at least I'm smart enough to see it.
I'm not crazy.
If I go out with someone, and I went out with someone recently, let's just say, who I met, I guess, within the last month. We went out a couple of times. I'm like, I don't think there's any vibe there.
Right.
I've only hung with her twice, and I kind of know there's not a vibe there, and I sent her a text, but I'm like, instead of getting mad, like, fuck her, I'm like, well, at least you can read the room.
Yeah.
At least I'm not deluded as to what, at least I understand.
And that is happening. And that's why people are seeing it clearly. And, you don't want to go back to the, like you said, that's why Trump won. But it is. I mean, whether people agreed with what Trump was saying or not, he represented this huge section of people that see what's going on TV and in media and stuff like that and understand that the true story isn't being told. And it's certainly not being told in a non-biased way.
That's where a lot of people voted for him. And again, not the crime. Trump's not going to stop this crime.
No.
It is literally, people are so sick and tired. So the press, as much as you hate him, in daily news by doing stuff like this, congratulations. You're the fucking dumb motherfuckers that push people to vote for him.
And you have no idea how much this fuels the alt-right movement. I mean...
And about this one, they're right.
Exactly.
They're right.
And it makes them seem like everybody's going around like, who's got this right? Who's reporting the story right? And they see guys that are part of the alt-right movement, part of this, part of that. And social media, that's why social media is great, but they're making mistakes too. Like the fact that Twitter and Facebook are aligning themselves with mainstream media in the sense that they're censoring people now. Yep. They're fucking around with trending topics so that it matches up more with mainstream media and not with what people are saying. It's simply not going to work anymore.
Zuckerberg's a twat for the way they were caught doing that, where
Absolutely.
They would manipulate certain stories. They're twats at Facebook.
Yeah,
it's a genius invention, but they're twats.
Yeah. And Google does the same thing, and YouTube was doing the same thing. YouTube was absolutely... I saw on videos that I had, like, because they said they caught YouTube taking videos down that violated terms of service or whatever because it was an unpopular political opinion.
Well, did you hear about the guy on the same subject? The guy who, Bo Bryce, the old American Idol contestant, who had a black girl fired from Popeye. Oh, Popeye, sorry. Had a black girl fired from Popeyes in the Atlanta airport because I guess they called him a white boy and they were laughing at his name. I don't want to see her get fired, but it's almost like, hey, that's the politically correct environment. And then he's whining about, or he's talking about how there's a double standard, and he's right. I don't want to see her get fired either, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, it was just somebody being stupid, but at the same time...
would happen reversed, somebody would get fired.
Right. If somebody made fun of a black name...
Oh, forget it.
You know what I mean? That would not pan out.
Are people calling in today?
Oh, my God, they are.
Let's chat with some folks.
I'm absolutely going to pick them all up.
Sure.
And it's not like... See, here's the problem. White people are not this minority group that need, representatives and power and blah, blah, blah. But when you start pinning white people in this corner where it's like everything you have privilege, so the things that you do are wrong, and then when you see a white person getting victimized like that, that's what turns so many people in this direction of extremism, which is the wrong way to go. But I get why it's happening.
Yeah, and it is. And take out the extremism on the right people, which is fucking guilty white people.
Yeah.
They're the liars.
Yeah, it's the coverage of this that's the problem.
Yeah, these fucking 4 people who did this, they put it on Facebook.
Yes. And they're getting arrested.
They're more honest than the press that covers it.
The problem, the story here is the coverage of the story.
Yes.
The fact that
stinks.
Yeah. This happened if you want news, go to Facebook Live because it's all happening there.
And that's why when you look at like fake news and we pray, I don't care about. I mean, look, as long as it's not slandering somebody. Yeah. But this is the legit media. I was looking on the NBC News story, and it's higher up now. But last night,
it has to be higher up. That's what I mean, because the story has become that it's not being covered.
The My Pillow getting an F rating was higher than this story on the NBC News homepage.
We'll talk about Mike Lindell later. I don't want to interrupt this story, but I got my opinions on him too. 2 for 1 in my ass. Can't be BOGO if the sale never ends. I'm getting distracted.
All right.
But yeah, and that's what's happening with social media. No matter how they try to censor it, like you find it.
Yep.
The fact that this 30-minute video exists. What happened here, I think, was that people saw and had access to the full 30-minute video. So they can just watch it without a story around it, without a filter.
That's right.
Develop an opinion, and then look around and either not see it on the news or see it portrayed in this way. Like, what are you talking about? I just saw the video. Why aren't we talking about this?
That's why they have lost the foothold they had, the press by and large.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And people, it's almost like the what I've said this before. What drove people to Sarah Palin was that people attacked her so much that a group just rallied around her and like, whoa, she's not that bad. That's the way it is with stuff like this. If they would just report it accurately, people would just be like, wow, another shitty story.
Yeah. Let's go to George in Missouri. Welcome to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts, George.
Hi, George.
Hey, guys, I think you're onto something. I think the fact that they're so dishonest makes people go to these fake news sites where people believe that Hillary Clinton had a sex trafficking thing at a pizza place.
I was hoping that was true.
Right. Like, no, you're right. That all of a sudden, when you turn on mainstream media and they're lying or they're being biased or they're giving you a story with a filter on it or whatever it is, all these stories that are, again, coming from alt-right websites or whatever it is that seems so outlandish, you start believing them because the mainstream media has stripped down their own credibility. So
why is this not fake news when they're reporting it the way they want you to see it? Why is that not fake news? Why does NBC News get a fucking pass?
Right.
Yeah, when all you want is the actual story.
Just as it was. I'm okay with it. The cops did their job. They arrested these guys. Great.
Right.
That's it.
It's really like that should be the story. Like, oh, good, they found them. Oh, good, I can't wait to see these assholes get what they have coming to them.
But the press has they've never had it so out of control where they can't control it. Like normally, like they would dictate what parts of the video were seen. They would dictate. They're not used to having the full video be accessible. And people go, look what these assholes just did.
Or they would edit the video like they did for George Zimmerman.
They did for Zimmerman, or they
Take
also
out the Trump
did
stuff.
for this other. Thank you. They also did for this other woman. They made it look like she was calling for peace, but she was really calling for a riot after her.
Yeah.
They're repulsive.
But then even after this, they're just going to go back to talking about how violent Trump supporters are.
They will. But it's so talked about now. They are actually fighting an uphill battle now, and it's kind of fun to watch.
A lot of the mainstream media right now is like that kid in the cave. They're like, no, there's got to be a way out of here. I'm pretty sure. Right now, the pulley's got them up. They're taking that sip of water.
Yeah.
But the pulley's about to break.
Yeah, all you see is two dumb feet that says NBC News on
it. Let's go to Mike in Virginia. What's up, dude?
Hello, Mike.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
I think you're definitely honest on Sam. I think the dishonest coverage definitely pushes people in that direction that they might not have been going in just because of a lack of options.
And it's like a lot of the stuff that the alt-right says is wrong and shitty, and like I get why people have a problem with it, but I 100% see scenarios like this all the time where I'm like, this is exactly why people are like, it seems like we're at a place now where Alex Jones, who we used to make fun of for being so over the top, seems trustworthy because the mainstream media has lost so much credibility. Like Alex, you watch a video like this and you turn on one of the cable news channels and they're either not talking about it or they're talking about it in a way that so doesn't match what you saw that you go over to like an Alex Jones or a Breitbart and you see what they're writing and you're like, oh, that is kind of what I saw.
Or Drudge. Yeah, is there anybody on the phones who doesn't agree with it, or are there people who are going, hey man, this is just, or are they all pretty much on the same
Most
page?
people agree with it.
All right, good.
Well, what I was calling to say, though, is I think it's crazy that the police commander who's heading up this investigation has already given them a pass, or trying to give them a pass, for it to be a hate crime. His quotes were something to the effect of, well, I know they're 18, but they're kids, and kids make stupid decisions. So legally they're adults, but maybe they were just kids being stupid. And to the point that obviously everyone keeps making is, if this was reversed, would anybody be giving poor white people that, well, they're young and they make stupid decisions?
No, and they shouldn't.
Obviously enraging.
Right.
They should. And the cops, by the way, with their hate crime stats, they're so full of shit. But a lot of that is because they don't want their stats to change in certain areas. I don't think that's the beat police officer. Like, I don't think the cop looks at that and goes, gee, just teens. They know what it is. But if they have to start reporting this stuff accurately, their fucking hate crime stats go through the roof. That's a statistical thing, too.
I don't think Chicago knows how to handle any of this stuff because statistically, Chicago is just in a shitstorm.
It's not good.
It's a shitstorm.
It's not good.
I think they said it was something like 450 or so murders in 2015. In 2016, it was almost 800.
Yeah.
How does Chicago suck so much? It's such an amazing city.
In 2016.
It's one of my favorite places.
762 murders in 2016 in Chicago.
I love Chicago. How is it such a shithole?
It's crazy.
How are they not getting it done?
The majority of it is in what, like 3 precincts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I've also heard, what the Midwest is.
yeah,
Young and restless.
Oh.
Let's go to Camille in Philadelphia. What's up, dude?
Oh, I love your music. How's Millie? Get it?
How y'all doing?
Hey.
Hey, well, look, man, I think y'all got it mostly right, but I hate part of the angle y'all take, which is that everything has to be equalized. Because, white people are still a majority, so it just has to be looked at in a different way. If this is white people doing it, and it's white guilt, my question is, why is white guilt so powerful? Why do white people feel so bad about themselves that they do this to each other?
I'll tell you why. Because for the same reason white people did stuff all through the South, people are sneaky, and everybody wants to divert responsibility, and everybody wants to feel better about themselves. So people, and people's hearts are sometimes in the right place. Like they think that by doing this, they're doing the right thing, or they're righting a wrong, or they're correcting an injustice. It's not always because people are being shitty. Sometimes people just think that this is the way to correct an injustice, but they're wrong.
I think a lot of white guilt comes from, like, you look at history, and it's undeniable. Right, you look.
Absolutely, we're terrific.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
Misunderstood.
You look at history, and it's undeniable that white people have been in the wrong many, many times. But that doesn't mean that you, as an individual person, are in the wrong right now. But I think there are a lot of white people that are so afraid of that history and don't want to be on the wrong side of it that they go all the way to the other side and think that nothing I'm doing can possibly be right because look at the history of white people.
And, dude, to answer your question, too, I'll let you respond. But I think a lot of white people are very scared of being exposed. Like, they're afraid if they say the wrong thing, you're going to see how they really feel about it. And it's not that they're hateful, but I think a lot of white people feel just a little bit better, or they feel just a little bit more intellectually or emotionally advanced, and they're afraid that arrogance is going to show if they let their guard down.
Yeah, they're accidentally racist.
That's absolutely right, and I think it's got a religious connection in some way, and this is just my point. There's a book called Black Paranoia by this guy John L. Jackson. He talked about what it is, what the PC culture may have stemmed from. He doesn't make a sharp point about it, but he says that at some point 50 years ago, a lot more white people were religious, and something happened where, talking about God and talking about Jesus is not as politically correct anymore, but you still have to have standards for weighing how good a person you are as a white person. And instead of having Jesus or God or being somehow holy and religious as some sort of guidelines, you've taken the catechistic way of saying that if I say this word, that means that I'm somehow bad. And I guess I'm just saying white people judge each other around it. So,
maybe.
So you think we need Jesus?
No.
No. Or was that an oversimplification?
I think you replace your religion, which gauged you on whether you did good deeds or not, with a new kind of religion, which is political correct.
That's a great point.
So that's actually a really good point. Yeah,
that's the
nigger,
that became the new moral compass.
Absolutely, and I think it's the same religious standard, and it's very Catholic in that way. You say nigger, and you get caught saying it, you're done.
You've sinned.
Some whatever these catechistic Hail Mary things you got to go look for before a tribunal, and you got to apologize, and you got to look and right.
You
it's
do.
the same bullshit.
Yeah,
right? You may get your job back, you may not.
And it's handled the way religious shit was handled. Sorry. It's handled the way religious shit was handled years ago. Like you said, like a tribunal. Wow,
exactly.
You go to
point. You go to Mata who's going to make you say apologize and all this stuff.
Except
confessional.
confessional.
I think it's still the same thing.
Confessional is being
the same relationship to religion in the same way that you guys have. So I think
right.
Confessional is being handled by Al Sharpton, though. You have to go to Al Sharpton to find out what the repentance is.
Well, he's a straw man for that. I mean, he's not somebody who represents us anymore.
Yeah,
I think there's a whole lot of other people. He's for y'all. He really is. He's the guy who says, "Oh, if you do say these words, I will forgive you." But black people ain't thinking about whether we forgive some white person for being nigger or not. I think I've been niggered more times in treatment than I've ever had been called a nigger.
Right. Yes, it makes 100% sense that the word it's not so much you don't mind the word; it's being treated like what the word means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question, sir. You're a black guy, so now you look at something like this. You know that this was a racially motivated thing. That's not you look at that. That's just what you see. Like, oh yeah, they were fucking with him because he was white.
But that's my point, man. We're so bad at it that we Facebook Live and say, "You white motherfucker," because we don't care about hiding our goofy, dumb, racist shit.
Right.
But you don't have to worry about the PC and
you're not guilty about it, right? That's exactly it.
Because you don't have to worry about the PC culture or the media.
Got into an altercation in the parking lot with a white dude. She started calling all sorts of white motherfucker. We don't care. If a cop came by and said, "I heard you calling him a white motherfucker," he's not going to care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's
so
also
we don't have any shame about it for the most part.
There's no backlash.
We don't have that religious guilt that you guys have.
Maybe that's a great point. All right, well, thank you very much for the call. I had not thought of it from that. That's a good way to put it. Maybe it's the new religion.
Yeah, I like that. And there isn't the backlash either. Like they know. Like, what are you going to be villainized for that? No.
That's why I said the people in the video are more honest than the press reporting it.
Yeah. Let me go to Bishop in Chicago.
Oh, thank you for calling, Father. I'm being cute right now.
You're just so silly.
You said, why does Chicago suck that bad? The weird thing about the shootings is they're so confined to such small areas in the city. Inglewood neighborhood, for instance, or neighborhood on the south and west side. For us, I mean, it's every day. And what's odd about it is the media doesn't report on half of it. There's websites up that have like a Chicago shooting tracker. There's 26 people shot on Christmas in Chicago, but you don't even hear that on the news anymore. It's so commonplace.
Where in Chicago are you?
What's that?
Where in Chicago are you?
I live right downtown.
Oh, cool.
So is the thinking or is the vibe there that like police feel like, well, those areas are just going to take care of themselves. We're not going to interfere. They're just going to shoot themselves until they're gone?
I think they don't have an answer anymore. They don't know what to do.
Right.
Because if they go in there busting heads, then Sharpton's down there, and if they let it go, then the little kids get shot. More little kids get hit than anything. I think what they ought to do is sign up everybody for shooting lessons, so they can actually hit who they're trying to hit, and there'll be a lot less people killed. Seriously, I mean, you hear about it. I can't tell you how many kids under 12 years old have been shot this year. They're just spraying out the window. And it's all about, around the drug trafficking and who's controlling the streets. It's basically like watching The Wire. I mean, that's what the neighborhoods look like. It's really odd, and it's it's so polarizing between those neighborhoods and the rest of Chicago. It's just like their own little city, and they control it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, buddy. And it's funny when I mentioned the Bo Bice thing, but did I mention this is why I mentioned it? Because Facebook, he put this video up where he was asking for the woman to be fired.
You're just a Bo Bice fan, first of all.
Well, it's music I love. Yeah. Facebook took it down on a terms of service violation.
That's what I'm talking
about.
These
fucking cunts at Facebook. They're pieces of shit. They actually took down, there was some burn victim. He was a firefighter who was burned horribly. And it was his birthday, and his friends were posting photos, and they kept taking it down, and they had to apologize and realize, we were wrong. This was a little while ago. They thought it was like because he's disfigured. These fucking arrogant twats wouldn't post a picture of this burn victim because they thought it was a goof.
Like, just let it go.
What shitheads.
Just post it. It's Facebook. Like, have them post what they want to post. You know what I mean?
And I know you got 1 billion people on Facebook, so you're trying to make a policy that 1 billion people in a bunch of different cultures can kind of all coexist under. So you're going to make mistakes. But why would you take down Bo Bice's video asking for someone to be fired for treating him in a way he thought was
bullying?
Yeah. But how is he bullying?
Yeah.
Politically motivated.
Wow. If a woman says something like that and you complain about it because she's a woman or because she's black, you're bullying by asking for her to be fired. Like, Facebook stinks.
Let me go to Armani in Hoboken. What's up, dude?
Oh, well, one of my suits is calling.
Hey, Jim, you use that joke all the time when I call him.
I don't remember, but I'm glad I reused it. Hello, sir. Hold on, Gucci's on the phone.
Go ahead, Armani.
Alrighty. So, Jim, I just want to ask you, since do you consider Fox News like a mainstream media outlet? Since I know they're like a kind of arm of the Republican Party, but they report on a lot of stuff, like, whether it's detrimental or, helpful to the Republican Party.
They are a much more conservative. They are mainstream media, but they have a much more conservative slant compared to the way the rest of the people. I consider them. Fox News gets so many headlines; they can push the narrative a certain way too. So yeah, I think they're also mainstream media.
Yeah, I think that they're treated a little bit like
they're treated definitely
outside the mainstream.
They are, and they get a lot of stuff. They're biased with a lot of stuff too. They're just as biased with a world story,
right?
As CNN.
It just becomes difficult that like both sides are biased, but Fox News is obviously biased in the Fox News way, and every other media vehicle just goes biased in the other direction.
Yeah.
And then the claim is that Fox News is the only one that's biased because nobody's agreeing with them.
But am I a little tired of pussy celebrities sniveling about Fox News like it's this maverick thing to say in show business? Yeah, I'm tired of it. Yeah, I won't go on Fox News. Whoa. What a career risk you're taking. Holy shit, someone's telling it like it is.
Yeah, why don't you go
Shut up.
Tucker Carlson and let him know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of annoys me.
Let's go to Jack in Baltimore. What's up, dude?
Oh.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello, Jack.
All right, so like one thing that I do want to point out, it's not just the media with certain things. This past summer, my wife was biking in Inner Harbor, which is a nice-ish area of Baltimore. It's supposed to be protected, and a bunch of black teenagers pushed her off her bike, saying "white bitch," nice Lululemons, all that shit. And luckily, other people were around, and the kids were kind of just people were like, "Yo, stop with this." Then when I called the cops, and tried to do a police report, I was like, "Hey, I'd like to report a hate crime," and they just were like, "Yeah, no," like they didn't care. Like it was almost like they were, I don't know, dismissing it, and just like, well, was she killed or like they didn't care. So in some cities, in some areas, if something happens like that, and if you legitimately want to report it, they don't really they don't take it seriously, or they're just like, go fuck yourself.
Well,
I
in
mean,
Baltimore, Baltimore and Chicago have so many problems. That's the last thing they need is just this. Like, I think that's a big part of it too. There's such shitty areas, and there's so many murders and horrible things that happen. But yeah, again, it is the way it is. Is that really a Daily News headline?
Yeah.
The Daily News, they say American Idol alum Bo Bice white-splains and then in quote racist Popeyes incident. They put racist in quotes.
And they use the word white splains.
That's the Daily News.
Right.
And then what's their headline for the Chicago story?
14s.
Yeah.
Can we take photos? Can we screen
Well,
cap
the
both of
headline
those?
for the Chicago story today in the Daily News is non-existent.
Well, no, I mean, in the paper, it's not there.
Right.
Because they really are a piece of shit dying newspaper.
Yeah, how is that not the most editorialized
Well, again, that's
headline
Daily News.
that you
well, they're
could
unbiased.
possibly do? Yeah.
Can we
it's just
see
journalism, right?
Yeah,
it's just journalism.
Adrian, can we see online the? I want to see this. White splains a racist Popeyes incident, and then the way, like, that's a good question. And the way they cover the other. Let's just see if the Daily News
Yeah, look up
online covers them both.
Maybe those 14s were black splaining something to.
Yeah, were they black splaining? It's not on the front page anymore on the Daily News.
But I mean, it's a long
keep scrolling. Where is it?
No, there's more important stuff to cover.
There it is.
Boy George is working on
Four
a biopic.
busted in torturing. Where's the?
No, he's not. You read that wrong, Sam.
Chicago cops
did
have
I?
four in custody.
He's being accused of biphobia.
Who is?
Boy George.
Is it biphobic?
Yeah, I guess. I learned about biphobia this morning when I read the story.
I can't stand him then.
Chicago. That's what people who steal have.
I just keep reading.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Maybe we could screen grab that the way they cover this.
It says Chicago cops have 4 in custody after Facebook Live video shows them torturing mentally disabled hostage. Warning, graphic.
By the way, the fact that he's mentally disabled, I'm sure the news loves it because now they can push that narrative instead of
the racist one.
Yeah, because
of course.
all you're reading now is that he was mentally disabled.
But yeah, but then they show Bo Bice white-splaining something.
Well, yeah.
In racist is in quotes.
Well, that was racially motivated.
What
on Bo Bice's
fucking
part.
Cunts that. But the beautiful thing about the paper is they have no idea what cunts they really are, and it's like they're just giving you they're just digging their own graves. They're putting both up there. At least they're not hiding how fucking awful they are.
I hope this doesn't ruin Bo Bice's celebrity.
I hope not either. I love him. I want to go see him live.
Let's go to Kevin in Louisiana. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, I'm pretty much got to a point where I've just learned to live with it. It's not going to change. If you're black, you can't commit a hate crime against a white person. Bottom line. But when you got somebody on CNN as a panelist blaming, I don't know the lady's name. She got short black hair. She was on Don
I know
Lemon's
you mean.
show,
Yeah.
talking about how basically it's Trump's fault.
But again, she's not important. I know who you mean. She's awful.
No.
But she's just a dumb Democratic strategist. Who cares?
Right. So she said she went on CNN and said that this violence against the Trump supporter was backlash based on the violence, and there have been based on the violence of Trump supporters, and there have been other people who, when the racial angle of this story is brought up, they bring it back to, well, it's just a response to white racism. So technically that's not, and it's like, come on.
So let's get to the important subject. Sam, on Red Eye, the celebrity video.
Oh, yeah.
You should share that with your audience. It was great.
Oh, yeah. We actually, it does go back to your point about the celebrities. They're not doing Fox News and everything. Did you see that there's a new celebrity video about trying to urge people to get to Congress?
About what?
And not allow Trump to go forward. It's a brand new one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, this is it.
But it is fun watching them swing and flail and get nothing done with this. It's not going to happen.
You don't
guys.
think it's going to work?
No. It's kind of fun to watch them all be so emasculated by the process.
It's got like...
Who do I love him, though? God damn, Jeffrey Wright is good.
From Westworld?
Oh, and from fucking... from the Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch is great.
Yeah, they got some okay... Some of the celebrities are not great. They have like Jeffrey Wright, Keegan-Michael Key is good. He's funny. But some... Huh? Sally Field. Yeah. It's about I wanted to know. I was thinking about whether or not I should protest Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But Sally Field hadn't made her opinion clear.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
So...
Members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members
of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
I'm mad.
Rosie Perez.
Furious.
Concerned for my children.
I'm worried for everyone.
The majority of Americans, regardless of who they voted for,
did not vote for racism,
for sexism, or for xenophobia. And yet Donald Trump won.
And since he won, hate crimes are rising. Women have been attacked in his name.
Good question. Good point. Hate crimes are rising. We just saw one committed in Chicago. You're right, sir.
Yes, it's Donald Trump won. Hate crimes are rising.
That was Trump's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Rising.
Women have been attacked in his name.
People of color attacked in his name.
You represent us.
Wait, hold
in
on a
Congress.
second. You do they mean the white guy that got beat up in the parking lot?
I don't.
I'm not sure if they mean, or do they mean the woman whose story was debunked because it didn't really happen?
No, you're.
I'm not sure if which one they mean.
They said color. I don't know if white counts as a color or is it the absence of color.
Well, the girl on the train, the Muslim girl, was had a family issue, and she just used that as an excuse.
She made that up.
Yeah,
that was a fake story.
It was a fake story about
I
him
see.
ripping off the hijab because I guess it was she wanted her father to get mad that she was late or some shit like that. The same reason that Tawana Brawley made it because she had family issues.
Right.
Yeah, but that was the police's fault. Didn't you hear her sister?
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
She wasn't pulling a Morton Downey Jr.
No, it was the police's fault for
Cool. Well, I wonder if they mentioned those. You're right. The hate crimes are up. The guy getting beat up in the parking lot. This thing in Chicago.
So let's see where
There's
this is.
plenty of time left on the video.
I'm sure that
that's
mentioned
probably
that.
where this is
Those are the
going.
crimes they're talking about. Okay, good.
You are our last line of defense.
So here's what we ask of our elected officials. No, here's what we demand.
Oh.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
Sexist, anti-immigrant,
Anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic,
anti-environmental policies.
We demand that you vigorously oppose him.
we demand that you block nominees who threaten the rights of women,
The LGBT community,
People of color, immigrants, and the poor.
And we want you to know that we are with you.
as long as you do that stuff, we won't remain silent.
We won't remain silent.
We won't remain silent.
Thank
We'll
God.
work harder to mobilize our votes.
And our communities. But we need you.
And we expect you to have our backs.
To protect our civil liberties
and to use your congressional powers
To obstruct.
To obstruct.
obstruct, defeat
anything.
Anything.
anything that violates our core values as diverse Americans.
Signed, the majority.
No,
The
Steve
majority.
Buscemi.
The majority.
I
the
guess
majority. The majority.
Hey, look, get rid of the electoral college. I'm fine with that. Get rid of it. But right now, that's where it is.
That's not what the video's for.
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
They're
This,
saying-
this is not the electoral college video they tried?
No.
Oh.
No, this
No.
isn't. This is a different video.
Cool.
See,
Are they
unfortunately,
criticizing Obama, by the way, for stressing the peaceful transfer of power?
the celebrities?
Yeah.
No, that's
okay.
not what this video's about.
They're the fucking worst. They're the worst.
But they're celebrities,
Shut up.
and their opinion means a little bit more.
The
Yeah, and look, they
majority.
got the right to express their opinion. You can't say just because they're celebrities
No.
they shouldn't say anything. It's fine.
No.
But the arrogance.
It's a different deal because what they're doing, they're not expressing their opinion. They're talking down, and they're saying this is how they're speaking for people. They're not speaking for themselves. They're saying we demand it. They're literally at this point in the video, if you rewind it like 5 seconds, are talking about the fact that they're speaking for the majority of people.
Well, they're saying that just because the majority vote. They're referencing the majority vote win by Hillary.
Somebody on Red Eye made a good point.
They're saying that.
The majority of people didn't even vote.
Yeah.
So they're not speaking for the majority.
I just find them all. They're all so predictable in their opinion. Like all of them.
But it's also like it's not. It's one thing to just go out and say, hey, here's I know I'm an actor, but here's how I feel. That's fine. But to go out and say, hey, this is what has to happen. A change has to be made because as a celebrity, my opinion is always right.
Boy, they're really not getting their way on this one.
Especially since they're saying we're going to mobilize our voters. Oh yeah. You're really going to string them all along. You're just a regular Pied Piper.
Yeah, you should have been in one of those fucking swing states.
Yeah,
helping Hillary.
So you mean New York and Los Angeles are going to vote liberal? That's great. Yeah. This could be a big change.
Yeah, this is a dumb video.
That violates our core values as diverse Americans.
Signed, the majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority
of the American people.
There it is.
Cool. That'll
the
do
celebrities let us know.
I guess they like to do it to make themselves feel involved and important. I get it.
It's a waste of time.
It is.
If you go, you can see the video that guy was talking about Adrian on my Twitter. If you want to play it real quick, don't go to. No, that's the whole segment. Go to the one on Twitter. Yeah, they did a. When I did Red Eye on Tuesday, we went in early and just filmed a parody of it, which we'll tweet out. This is what he was talking about.
Celebrities.
Dear celebrities.
Stop. Stop making these videos.
No one asked you to make them.
No one.
And very few people seem to like them. Yet you keep making them.
And most importantly,
They don't seem to help.
Whether we agree with you or not.
Or not.
Or not. Your videos don't change our minds.
In fact, they make us want to do the opposite of what you say.
So for your own sake and ours,
stop.
Stop.
Stop. Stop.
Stop.
Signed.
Everybody in the entire world.
Plus, I love the fact that there's zero diversity in this.
yeah. I'm the most diverse person in the thing. There is a woman.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
counts.
Yeah,
It's
you.
not.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
It's not all white men. That is funny.
Yeah.
They probably should have tried to find somebody.
Spiced it up a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, get a camera guy or something.
Still, this is how we feel. Let's go to Patrick in New York. What's up, dude?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, listen. So I mean, Katie Couric has been co-hosted for
this past week because the one's on maternity leave.
Wait, what? Who?
Katie Couric
Oh,
has been on the Today Show because one of the other hosts. is
Oh,
on
right.
maternity
Okay,
leave,
so
Yeah, so today's her last. I think her last day or tomorrow is. And when they came out of the clip of the chief of police from Chicago basically saying, yeah, well, these are just kids doing something stupid. She came back. She's like, well, that's a hate crime in my opinion. Is basically what she said.
Katie Couric said that.
Yeah, Katie Couric said that. I was like, oh, that was awesome.
Wow.
Because she doesn't care. Because she doesn't care because she's not
she's
gonna
leaving on Friday, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Al didn't say a word, and neither did.
Of course they didn't.
Both.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they all just sat there and they're like. And they just went right to the next story.
Yeah. Roger's like, hey, Katie, why don't we get back to the weather over here? It's sunny.
Yeah. No, they didn't even try. They didn't even try that. You know what I mean? It was just like complete silence until whoever had to speak about whatever. They just didn't acknowledge that statement was even made.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Katie Couric said something, and that is the beauty of getting to do one of those news shows for just a week and then knowing you're done.
You can leave.
Yeah, you can say what you actually feel. You want to take a call from Donald Trump?
Oh, you'd love to have him on the phone.
He's calling from the White House.
Well, oh, my God.
I don't know why he would already be at the White House.
He might be there doing some business. Hello, Mr. Trump, Mr. President?
Yes, Sad Rabbit, Jim Norton. Just want to say, love the show. You guys are incredible. I only have a short amount of time.
Why are you at the White House already? You're not the president yet.
Sam, I'm the one asking questions here. Okay?
Right. No,
Please,
right.
we apologize, Mr. President.
You're right.
Yes, it's fine, Sam. Back to my point. I just want to say those celebrities are a disgrace. They're wasting their time. They're wrong. They're wrong, and I'm going to do everything in my power to take them out.
That's great.
Sam, love the show.
Thank you, Ted Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy. Let's go to Glenn in New York. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello, Glenn.
So that video, you got a bunch of celebrities talking about what they voted for, but didn't they lose?
Yeah, that to me is the weirdest part where they're like, we're going to get our voters together. But like, you already did that.
Yeah.
It's not like the celebrities were quiet about this election. Every celebrity, except for fucking Antonio Sabato Jr. and Chachi, voted for Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
All of them. There were the two, and Dana White. Dana White's the only legitimate celebrity. Donald Trump had Chachi, Antonio Sabato Jr., and Dana White.
John Voight.
And John Voight. John Voight! And John Voight. And Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had the rest. All the rest. And it still didn't do a lick of good. Nick in Detroit.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
How you doing, Nick?
First off, big fan of you, Sam. Congratulations on the new position. Jimmy.
Thank you.
Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
You're a good man.
Thank
You're a good man.
Thank you, sir.
Anyway, I was saying, man, I'm an Arab. I'm a Muslim, man. I'm sick of all these freaking whiny ass liberals. I knew the girl at U of M. She said she got her scarf ripped off and all this other bullshit because they just want to freaking sit there and whine and cry about it, and they want to make a big deal out of it. And I followed that kid. I don't know if you heard the story about the kid that said he got kicked off the airplane because he was speaking Arabic.
Your phone's like almost impossible to hear, dude. But definitely,
Dude, we're not. Your phone is. Yeah, the guy was a YouTube. He's like a YouTube guy who got thrown off for speaking, but it was like a thing that they had set up. They kind of wanted to get thrown off the plane.
Oh, I see.
We're speaking another language, and they threw us off.
Right. Yeah, that was like that story when I think it was over right at the beginning of our Christmas break when a guy got thrown off a JetBlue plane. I think it was JetBlue. I might be wrong though. For insulting or talking to what's her face? Ivanka Trump.
Yeah, the guy and his husband. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was on there, and the first stories, like the headlines, were like, "Guy gets thrown off the plane for asking why Ivanka Trump was on." Like they completely downplayed it until all the other passengers came forward and were like, "No, this guy was belligerently yelling at Ivanka and her family."
And she didn't want him thrown off.
No, she was ignoring it.
And she also said, I don't want to make a thing out of it.
Right.
She didn't want him thrown off the plane. I guess she's prepared for that. Like, look, I go in public, people are going to say shit.
Plus, Ivanka Trump is the perfect woman.
She's awesome.
She's the greatest, isn't she?
Yeah.
She should be the president.
Where is she in that photo? Is that her right there, the blonde sitting in the middle there?
Oh, yeah, it is. Right there. Ivanka in that face. She should leave her family.
And go where?
I guess my place.
The Secret Service didn't even get involved. They just let JetBlue people handle it.
Yeah, they're like, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
You can't fly commercial and not expect people to talk a little shit.
Right, and that's why she didn't...
Yeah, what kind of person does that when her kids are there? Like,
the guy's a jerk off.
Saying that
you could say, like, I don't like your... But
your father's ruining the country, now you're ruining our flight.
And he won't...
Because she got on late. I think they had to wait for them to get on.
Yeah,
that's my
just
guess.
Fucking suck it up.
Yeah. And he didn't let it go either. It's not like he just said that and then sat down in his seat and...
No, and then his husband started tweeting about how they're going to harass her.
Matthew Lasner, he's like, Ivanka and Jared at JFK T5 flying commercial. My husband chasing them down to harass them. And he writes, banality of evil.
Isn't that great,
the daughter, you dope. Fuck yeah.
Isn't that the name of your album? The Banality of Evil?
What's that mean?
It means cool. It means evil's cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Chip's about as banal as they can get, huh?
Fuck yeah, I'm banal. Fuck yeah, I was in the Erie Banal one time.
I love that guy...
Fucking, I'm so cool that hell can't even melt me.
I love that guy's Twitters would... No, it didn't work. It wasn't any good. Chip was sending me voice texts, several of them last night.
Oh, you weren't the only one?
Yeah, several of them. Chip doesn't like to text. Chip likes to voice text, and they're infuriating. They're infuriating.
When I got one, I saw it was a minute. I said, oh, God.
They're long.
A minute.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yes.
I'm going to see if it's anything I can play.
What was it about?
Let's see.
I'm going to guess not.
This one, I'll go, yo, what about the prison? It all looks like they're laying in a septic tank.
Oh, no, that's from the...
That was the one that you broke.
Yeah, I started laughing.
Yeah.
I started laughing.
Jim started laughing as he was doing the Chip thing.
Yeah.
And then Chip insisted that that wasn't Jim laughing. He was just cracking himself up. I was like, good. Thank you for the message. But yeah, I love that this guy's Twitter did him in. Because his first tweet is... we're going to go harass Ivanka Trump. And then his next tweet is like, JetBlue kicked us off the plane for no reason, just for talking to this woman. It's like, you didn't even delete the tweet before that.
Expressing displeasure about flying with the Trumps. It's not what it was. He's a harasser.
No, he was a harasser.
You can't harass the fucking first daughter.
That's right. Robert in Texas.
Yeah, she said, I don't want to make this a thing.
What's going on, Robert?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hi.
Hey, I just had a quick question for Jimmy.
Sure.
You made a comment about abolishing the Electoral College. Do you know why the founders enacted that?
I know that they want it to be protected. It's like a fail-safe, and it's also so smaller states have more of a say. It's not that I just don't care if they abolish it. Like, if it's there, we have to live by it, and if they abolish it, then it's a majority rule. I don't give a fuck if they get rid of it, to be honest. A part of me is annoyed by it because only 4 states are concentrated on. They pretty much get New York's liberal, California's liberal, Texas conservative, this one's conservative, and then 4 states get all the fucking, get all the heat.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they enacted it. They knew there was a high concentration of dense population that would be dictating the policies of the rest of the country, and the rural areas would never get a say. So if you look at the last election, you look at the map, it's predominantly red, so it's working perfectly. I know they won the popular vote, but that's just because of the dense concentration of populations in those states. So the framers were geniuses.
And honestly, like, I think the states thing is important because I bet there are a lot of people that live in New York, that live in Los Angeles, that live in other liberal-leaning states and cities, that if they moved out to rural areas and had kind of the life experience that these guys do, they would probably switch their parties because they'd realize, oh, I'm actually represented better by these people.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, sir, and I know that's why it's there. So again, it's hard to say they should take it, but stuff like the super delegates and all these things that they do.
I don't think any of that. I don't know for sure. I don't know if any of that super delegate shit is in the Constitution or not, but I don't know about that one.
All that stuff should go.
I can't see it being in the Constitution since only Democrats have it.
I'm pretty sure the word super is not in the Constitution.
Not at all.
It'd be cool if it was.
It is under slavery. They thought it was a super cool idea.
Slavery. Super dope, I know. We're keeping it legal.
Yeah.
All right, we should take a break. We got a lot of stuff going on today. Jim's not, we got nothing to plug.
Nope. I'm happy to be just editing the special. I mean, that's the process I'm in. I'm quite enjoying it.
Well, then make sure you're following us on Twitter. We're tweeting out all the links that we talk about at Jim and Sam Show. The video that we did for Red Eye, the video that we just tweeted if you want something to get mad at. We got all kinds of pictures of the cave guy that we were talking about at Jim and Sam Show. And also go to youtube.com/Jim and Sam Show and subscribe to the channel. Old Sick Baby is putting up videos pretty much every day at this point, and they're full segments.
Yeah, and let the Daily News and all these other people know. Maybe you like the way they cover stuff. If you like it, be fair. Let them know.
That's right. That's right. We'll be right back.
Yeah, bye.
I feel like your music brings so much to the morning, though.
My asshole is itching right now, by the way.
Well, why don't you give it a rub?
I did. I'm literally scooting like a dog on my chair.
Why is your bottom itchy?
I don't know. It feels like there's a centipede fucking breakdancing in my asshole.
Oh.
I don't have a roid.
That is disgusting.
I know, and it's not pleasant.
Welcome back to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. Speaking of assholes, and speaking of rectums, We have an update. You know, yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show, you should definitely listen on demand.
You missed a barn burner.
Yeah, it was a good one. If you go to SiriusXM on demand, you can just search Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. All the shows are there.
How funny was Dan Soder?
He was great.
We want Dan Soder in as often as possible, but he's busy, so he comes in when he can.
Yeah, he's shooting billions. He's doing all kinds of stuff. But I love having Soder in.
Yeah.
But yesterday, and it's always great having a guy like Dan Soder in, because I knew I wanted to talk to Adrian about that thing. And you can't do like show stuff like that with every guest.
Right.
But I knew that having Soder in, it's like, not only can you do it with him, but he's the perfect guy.
Yeah, Soda Pop Dan is perfect.
Danny Soda Pops?
Yeah.
Danny Fizzles?
Oh, Danny Fizz. He didn't like that.
I really hope anybody that goes to see him at Gotham this weekend, you got to make Fizz sounds. You got to call him Danny Fizz and Danny Soda Pops.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we talked about Adrian and what he did over break.
That's right. He had a great break.
And who he did over break.
That's right.
Which was Mary Jean, our friend Mary Jean. And I got an update on that.
You do?
I'm starting to be suspicious. I think Adrian was not telling us the whole truth yesterday. Because I got an update via Twitter.
I have not seen this update.
Mary Jean tweeted me personally.
Ooh.
And I'm going to tell you something. Mary Jean would not lie to me.
I agree. She would.
No.
She thinks very highly of you.
She has told me on more than one occasion, as a matter of fact, that she loves me. And a person that loves you wouldn't lie to you. So I want Adrian to love me. I don't think he does. But she tweeted out, you remember what Adrian said yesterday, right? That Mary Jean put a condom on her hand. And how many fingers did Adrian say that she got up there? Adrian, how many was it?
3 or 4.
Yeah. 3 or 4. Oh, the story changes now. Oh, it could have been 3. It could have been 4.
No, that's what it says.
I happen to know it was more than 3 or 4. Because what Adrian didn't tell us, and what we found out by looking at Mary Jean's Twitter, is that she put 3 fingers in Adrian's bottom on her left hand. But it says right here, he forgot to tell you that I stuck my whole right hand up his ass and 2 fingers. That's 7 fingers, dude. She stuck her whole right hand as well as the other one?
That's 7 fingers.
No, she did not.
All right, cool. Well, so why are you ashamed of that?
I'm not ashamed of it.
She's not going to lie about that.
Yeah,
That
why
doesn't
would
make
she
any
lie?
sense.
Neither would I. I would be shitting softballs.
No, you would.
You did lie about it.
You lied about it because Mary told us the truth.
You said you made it look like it was 3 fingertips.
Right.
When in fact it was a whole hand.
And the 3 fingers.
She Otto and Georged you.
Can you imagine? And he did say yesterday that he had a big asshole.
Yep.
Can you imagine having it so stretched out that you didn't even realize there was a hand in there?
And 2 fingers.
And the fingers.
It's true.
It's a natural gift.
Man, oh man. So she got the whole hand in there.
I mean, if she says it must be true.
Yep.
She's not going to lie.
No, she wouldn't lie. Good for her.
Travis Dog.
What?
Who do you... Ooh, the Travis Dog is growling.
Yeah, he sure is. I guess we're in the doghouse.
Uh-oh. The Travis Doghouse.
What's your question?
Who do you think we believe here?
For this specific
instance, yeah.
I would believe Mary Jean.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
She has no reason to lie.
Thank you, Travis.
Is she coming in?
Adrian, I still love you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
She was texting Adrian yesterday because she was trying to get the details of what Adrian told us, and then she listened to she listened to the replay, and she was like, "Oh, what Adrian forgot to mention was my entire hand was up there as well."
That's not what she said.
And I was like, "Oh, Adrian did forget to mention that."
He forgot to say that, and 2 fingers.
And 2 fingers.
Yeah, like if she was disputing like multiple things, then I might be like, all right, maybe she's trying to change the narrative here.
Right.
But like, yeah, when it's just like one little, and also.
Right.
Yeah.
She's taking ownership of it.
Yep. Adrian, comment.
She's getting shitty because I told you guys everything.
What do you mean
She's
shitty?
That's not shitty.
She's not getting
she's
shit.
Being,
Oh,
she's correcting you.
You mean literally?
Yeah,
with the hand.
Because of the hand. Like she was
I think
pulling
he's
it out.
disappointed in himself. He wanted to take 10 fingers and he couldn't. I think that's what it is.
So rather be like, oh, I took 3 and I just couldn't do it, than say like I got 7 up there and couldn't do the rest.
He's embarrassed because he brags about his giant gaping asshole. That's his source of pride for him.
He likes having that.
He is a big shitter, as he likes to say in his Match.com profile.
Right.
And
he knows in his heart that D-Bag could take 2.
Yeah.
He could take 2 full hands.
Sure he could. Sure he could.
You think Sick Baby could? You think he could take 3?
Absolutely.
And he doesn't like the idea that his coworker can obviously take more than he can, because he can only take 7 digits.
It's humiliating.
It is humiliating.
Yeah.
It's humiliating to walk out of there and just not be the complete man that you thought you were.
That's right.
I can't wait till she comes in so we can get to the bottom of this. Because I'll look at her in the eyes and I'll know if she's lying or if you're lying. And right now I'm looking at you. Adrian, how many fingers were in your butt?
3.
The human lie detector says you are lying. It was 7.
I mean, technically, he's not lying.
That's why he's able to do it so convincingly.
Why?
Because there were 3 in there, but then there was also another hand. Because if there were 7 or 8, there were also
Travis.
3. Mathematically speaking, I didn't say 3 and only 3. That's the. I see. Okay,
It's true. There were 3.
Yes.
Yes.
But also 4.
By the way, a quick update.
Yes.
Chicago police. Victim in assault broadcasted, likely targeted because of special needs, not race.
They said it.
There's that Chicago police. Good work, Chicago PD.
Yeah, but you heard in the video when they said "fuck special needs people."
No, they said fuck white people.
Yeah, because I didn't hear. Maybe I got to watch more of it, but I didn't hear the special.
There's that
needs.
Chicago PD doing a good job.
What are they doing?
Doing a great job, Chicago PD. Good job.
What, they just want to be media darlings?
They're just doing a good job.
Maybe they'll stop reporting on all the murders if we just go with what their story is instead of telling the truth.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's disgusting. It's awful.
I just had to read the update.
What a disappointment.
I know.
Like, what are you doing?
I know.
They're just like, well, maybe Matt Lauer won't give us such a tough time. Maybe, we could probably get on MSNBC more if we just go with what they're saying.
Yeah.
CNN's really been grilling us. Maybe we should just stick with their story. Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yep.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of backlash on that.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah.
You think people will be like, okay, well, if they say so, if they say that's what happened, then I guess that's what happened. What was this story you wanted to talk about yesterday? Revenge porn is when your ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, films you, and then after you guys break up,
yeah, or it takes private photos that you've sent them and post them.
Right.
And it's illegal in a lot of states. It should be illegal
in all states.
In all states. Especially if the video is taken without your knowledge and posted.
Yeah.
There's a woman suing Google. Her thing is make me disappear. She's to unprecedented matter. She's suing Google, Yahoo, and Bing to permanently delete her full name from their internet search engines, which they probably can't do because they said that if another person has the same name, they have to be able to be searched.
Yeah.
So it's a really tough thing. What do you do? It's some scumbag she dated for 3 months, an absolute scumbag. Published surreptitiously recorded sex tapes on X-rated websites. So they dated for, I guess, a couple of months. He fucked her, taped it without her knowing. Fucking baby boy can't handle being dumped. Like so many of you cunt guys can't handle being dumped. You fucking whinge and you fucking cry about it. And then he posted a revenge porn thing. What a disgusting fucking crime. That's terrible.
It's horrible.
I'm a piece of shit. I like to jerk off onto myself. The idea of posting somebody else.
You just want to add that in?
No, but
I mean,
saying,
people knew you were a piece of shit. You didn't have to just say hey, by the way, guys, I like to jerk off onto myself.
I was just trying to think I'm a creep. Like I get what being a pervert is or being dirty,
or jerking off onto yourself.
Sure,
yeah,
or other people for that matter.
Yeah,
but the idea of fucking posting someone's private shit is so fucking repulsive.
It's so violating.
It's just you're just a scum. Like they should literally just kneecap you with a bat for that shit.
Right. But I don't know. I think that the fault lies in the person who did it, obviously.
Yep.
And the people who host it. But
yeah,
the search engines aren't hosting.
I don't know what the search engines are responsible for or not. But the people, I think a lot of the sites have taken it down.
Yeah. And then if the sites take it down, then generally speaking with search engines, you can wait for it to just kind of cycle out. You know what I mean?
Will it cycle out? They said her name is West African or something. So I guess she has a pretty unique name where it's one of those things that might not get cycled out.
Well, if she does anything that's worthwhile, it'll get cycled out.
And I feel bad for her, but she's having a hard time getting internships and jobs. Even though I don't know why she was a crime victim. She's a victim of a crime. So why would she have a hard time getting hired?
Because people wouldn't know that it was necessarily revenge porn, probably. Or even if it said that, you know what I mean? Like now they will because this news story is attached with it. But yeah, I just don't, I mean, I get it. But that's why there needs to be a punishment for the people that host it and the people that tape it and post it and do all that stuff.
That is such... Don't you have to have permission to post certain...
I mean, you're supposed to, I think.
You have to get releases signed. You have to get releases signed.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that you can punish the people that host it and the people that post it, but once you start messing with search engines and being like, no, we have to delete this from it, we have to delete that from it, you're kind of... I know Google already fucks with their own search engine, and that's shitty.
Yeah.
But you don't want things deleted from search engines in general. I don't think it's not a good direction to move in, to start deleting things from search engines.
Last year, Microsoft agreed to allow users to file requests to remove revenge porn on its various platforms, including Bing, Xbox Live, and OneDrive. Other internet and social media companies issued clarifications on their guidelines, which regulate what it is and what is not permitted on their site. Like Instagram, the photo sharing said it would not allow any nudity or pornography, although it would permit images of women breastfeeding, nude statues, and post-mastectomy.
Nice.
All right, fine. Yeah, those are the ones I like anyway.
Yeah.
Statues, post-mastectomy, and breastfeeding, those are my three fetishes.
Right,
A, B, and C.
Ken Bone still loves Instagram.
I bet he does.
Yeah, he does.
But just a pair of regular tits is terrible. Like, that's... What... How is that?
Yeah.
So how is just a pair of regular tits? Like, if you don't want to show porn, that's one thing.
There was a titty.
How is a pair of regular tits a problem in this day and age?
There was a titty revolution on Instagram. Chelsea Handler used to post a bunch of topless
I
photos
respected
all
that
the
too
time.
because she looked good naked.
Of course, Eric Andre decided to go in the other direction and do a penis revolution. He posted a lot of dick pics on Instagram.
Did he get thrown off?
No. I guess he said that Instagram realizes that it's for humor's sake, so they didn't throw him off. But I mean, he's posted like photos of him tucking. He's posted photos of, like, he'll post one of like he's in a hot tub or whatever, and he's just sitting there. And then the next photo, as you scroll up, is him standing up and his dick is just out. Like, there's a ton of Eric Andre dick pics on Instagram. So it's weird how they decide what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. But, you know, I just don't think... If you're posting something to a site, then of course the site can and should have guidelines, especially if it's something without consent. But I guess I don't know enough about how search engines work. I just don't like the idea of stuff getting deleted from search engines, because then I feel like people can start picking and choosing and what's next to go.
Yep.
You know, I'm not looking up revenge porn, but you understand what I'm saying, I think. It's just, it is fucking gross that it's such a thing, though. You know what I mean? That revenge porn is such a thing, but that's what happens. People just get angry and rageful. And they don't understand the consequences, or they don't care, or they're just selfish. I don't know.
They both. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They're selfish, and there's no real penalty for it. How is that not illegal in every? I think it's in 38 states. It's illegal. Am I crazy about that?
You're fucking nuts, dude.
I don't know. I just made that number up.
No, I mean, I know it's not illegal in New York.
It's not illegal?
No.
How is it not? Who's fighting that? Like, who's saying no? Revenge porn's got to be legal?
Yeah. You know what that could lead to? It's like, no, nothing. It'd make it illegal. It without consent.
Yeah, it's not a slippery slope. If you're posting nudes of people without consent and you're doing it for that reason, it's a problem.
Well, there was the one guy, I'm spacing on his name right now, but he made a huge living off of his big website.
Something Teft.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think it was. But he made a huge living because his website was massive, and it was all revenge porn. It was the #1 revenge porn.
Isn't he in jail?
He's in jail.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
He is a piece of
fucked
shit.
with the wrong person, and the mother tried to get it taken down, and he wanted money, and he scumbag.
I'm wrong. It is illegal in New York.
Okay, good.
Well, it looks like you're going to have to do
trouble.
some
Yeah, I gotta go.
Exactly.
deleting of your cookies or whatever it is.
A lot of photos of fucking some dumb dog licking a pair of ugly balls going to be taken down, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you
My
this.
balls are ugly.
I'll tell you.
I've seen the photos.
Yeah, there's some dog fucking a cat videos in a certain apartment that are going to have to be taken down immediately.
That's right.
Adrian says that kids in his area were arrested in high school for building a massive database of nude pics from local girls. I was like right on the cusp of going to high school when nude photos were a thing. I guess now, like, all girls have nude photos because they take them on their phones, they text them, whatever.
I missed that era.
When I was in high school, it was like digital cameras. So you still could do it. It was right after. Some people would obviously take nude photos and get them developed or Polaroids or whatever. But when you could easily, when everybody had a digital camera, so everybody's got this photograph option that you don't have to go to a third party for, that's when private nudes became a thing that just everybody did.
So they weren't taking sellies back then?
Taking...
Selly.
Is it the guy that landed on the Hudson?
No, selly.
What's this?
That's what I call a phone with a photo with a cell phone, selly.
That's what you call a phone with a cell phone?
Photo with a cell phone.
I thought most phones had cell phones.
No, photo with a cell phone, selly. I'll send to a girl.
Selfie?
No, selly.
Oh.
I'll say to a girl, send me a selly.
And what did she do?
Hangs up. Blocks me.
But even then, that shit got out there. What ended up happening was, like, there would be like 1 or 2 a year girls whose nude photos would leak that went to school, and it was like a giant catastrophic thing.
There were none in my high school. We didn't have digital cameras. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, back when you were in high school, it was like the flash bulbs were blowing up everywhere.
82 to 86.
Oh, my mistake.
Long time ago.
My mistake. But yeah, it was like a huge deal when somebody's nude pics came out.
Well, 83 to 86.
Because it never happened. I was born in 83.
Do you know the first yearbook I bought? I remember I was a freshman.
I was about to say, why'd you only do 3 years of high school?
83 to 45. Yeah, I
dropped out.
I bought, 83, 84, 85, 86. It's 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And the first yearbook I bought was 82. Because I was like, I don't remember taking a photo for it. But it was the wrong yearbook.
What a fucking anus. What a stupid kid.
I was stupid. I bought the wrong yearbook.
What a stupid guy.
I don't know. I knew I had never taken a yearbook photo, but I thought they might have just taken one of me. North Brunswick High School.
What an idiot.
1982 yearbook. I have it. For no reason.
None of your friends.
No, I didn't know anyone.
What a creep.
That's just dumb.
You bought a yearbook that nobody you know is in.
I didn't know. I just saw yearbooks were being sold, and I'm like, I want a yearbook.
So stupid.
I know.
They saw you coming too. It's like the Yogi Bo guy. Guy selling yearbooks. You're like, am I in this? Yeah. Just look for it.
No, I
It's
remember looking through
$15.
freshman and I wasn't in it. I was like, oh, it's the wrong one. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Did you try to return it?
I don't remember. I mean, I realized that I still have all my yearbooks, but I realized that the ones I was looking for were all softs by the point I was looking.
Were what?
Sophomores.
What'd you say, though?
Softs.
Why'd you say soft?
Fast, it's cool.
No, it's not cool.
But yeah, I bought the wrong fucking yearbook. I'll never forget that. Coming home with it all ready to look through, smelling it, brand new glossy black and white photos.
You just went page by page trying to figure out why little Jimmy Norton was left out.
Dude, I still have yearbooks from
What am I most likely to do? Buy the wrong fucking yearbook, stupid.
I have yearbooks. I have two of them from when I was in second grade and third grade from 76 and 75. I was in Mrs. Hauk's, H-A-U-K, I think, her third grade class. And there was two of my friends, Angelo and Raphael, the kids who I snitched on. We were all stealing.
I was friends with Donatello and Raphael.
Were you?
Yeah, Leonardo.
Who's that?
Go on.
Who is that?
It's the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, no, we were vandalizing, and I have yearbooks with their pictures in them. I have them somewhere.
What were you vandalizing?
We would like really. I remember we were just like taking the big metal grates up, picking like like when you go by a building, there's like a half circle metal grate against, and we would just take that up and like throw it through windows. It was
so it wasn't just like harmless. I thought it was going to be like you took like a marker and wrote "fuck" on it.
No, we were throwing bricks through windows. It was real violence. Yeah, second grade, we were stealing cameras. They were stealing cameras we would break into these basements.
What the fuck was wrong with you?
I was sucking dicks at that age. What do you want? I was an advanced boy. We would break into these basements, and they stole the cameras. I remember, like, because the apartment buildings all had storage in the basements. I think that's where I did a lot of the monster rain too. And we would steal, and I forget where it happened, but it wasn't in our building. But I remember taking, I think it was a camera and some other stuff. And I don't know how we got caught or how the adults knew it was us. But they brought me in and I ratted on my friends.
Why?
I was scared. I was fucking second. I don't know. I was a master criminal at second or third grade.
A little fucking snitch.
I was a little fucking snitches.
What a wiener.
And Andrew and Angelo and Raphael were gonna beat me up.
Good.
Raphael was Spanish. Angelo was black, and I was the white snitch. And I remember. I guess I apologized. I remember me and Angelo running around the
took
track.
their nunchucks out of their belts.
No, they weren't Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
And I remember I forget how we apologized or how we made up. I think I lied and they believed me. But I remember shaking Angelo's hand to make up on the track. It's a vague memory, and he shook my hand and we made up. But I don't remember.
You get your ass kicked?
I don't think I did.
You're like, I'll give you a handshake and I'll suck your dick if you don't beat me up.
No, I didn't suck his dick. I didn't like black dicks when I was a kid. I didn't go for that.
That wasn't for you?
No.
That wasn't your preference?
No, it just felt too weird.
Do you feel like your parents did a good job when you were young?
It's different back then. We parenting was different. It was different. They weren't as obsessed with the kids. Parents didn't obsess over you. They didn't harp on you. Anybody who's in their 40s will tell you you had a lot more freedom at that age. In some ways, it was good. In some ways, it was catastrophic.
Yeah, they did a very terrible job with you.
No, they didn't. They did the best they could. I mean, parenting was very different back then. I remember my friend Sean, his father being arrested. I remember just seeing. And Sean was one of the kids I played Monster Rain with. He was a year older than me.
So you'd suck his dick and he'd suck your dick.
Yeah, but his dick got hard and mine didn't. But I remember his father being arrested.
Remember that?
But I remember that's how long ago it was. I didn't know why his penis got hard. That was the first time I ever saw an erection. I didn't know what it was.
And then you put it in your mouth?
What else are you going to do with something strange? Jeez, you act like you never tasted things when you were a kid. How old? 18? No, I was probably like second or third grade.
He could do a version of strange fruit, but it'd be very, very different.
So it was, I remember his father, Jerry, getting arrested. Or maybe it wasn't Jerry. I don't remember. Getting arrested for
facilitating second graders sucking dicks?
No, I'm mixing up two stories. I remember one of my friend's fathers getting arrested for being drunk, and the cops were cuffing him, and he was really skinny. So I remember the cuffs were behind him, and my friend's father stepped through the cuffs and pulled him up to the front of him like he's that limber. And I remember my friend like laughing, oh, look how cool he was. Like, and I look back and go, he was so humiliated that he was trying to find a cool moment like in this whole thing. His father was always getting arrested. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was really, really embarrassing.
It must have been, but he was trying to make the kids still think he was cool.
Cool, yeah.
By his wrists.
No, my friend was trying to go like, wow.
Oh, like your friend was trying to be like, hey, no, he's
my
so
dad's
cool.
cool. Look what he just did.
But your friend was embarrassed at what your dad had done.
His dad.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Is our guest here?
So it was really, but parenting was very different in the 70s. So, and I'm not saying that in some old man way. We just had a lot more freedom.
Yeah, but
my mother tells a story that I've told, and I would have to ask her again about that because I'm terrified of heights. She
I
tells
thought
a
this was going
story.
to go the same way Precious's mother's story was.
No.
You didn't have that experience?
What, eating a pussy? No. She always swat me away. I guess in Jersey City or wherever. I went to the top of a 3-story building, and I guess she was talking to the neighbor, and she didn't notice it. I think I just peeked over her at the side off the roof of the building, and she panicked and was trying to keep me there. Maybe that's where I got my fear of heights from. I got to ask Mother again about that story.
Yeah.
About me peeking over the roof of the building.
I feel like there were a lot of kids in the 70s that grew up without your experiences.
I think you're right, but I mean, in general, you had freedom to do weird stuff that you didn't in the 80s and the 90s,
like throw grates through windows
and rocks. I told you, I've told these stories before. We'd go up in Raritan Heights Apartments, which is now called Riverview in Edison. We would go up to where the bridge started, the Route 1 bridge, which connected over the Raritan River to the flea market, and we would take just rocks, giant rocks, and throw them at cars going 50 miles an hour. Like we were standing in the shoulder of the road, fucking throwing rocks at moving cars. There was no hiding.
It's one of the all-time worst ideas.
No subtlety. And I remember the cars, because they could never slow down. And the rush. You would get the fear of running as adults were chasing you. And I remember going and hiding in... we would just hide in different apartment doors and that heavy breathing and then wondering when we could come out. And I have very vague memories. Something tells me something bad happened back then.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like associated with that?
I told
or just
you,
around the same time?
I told you, I remember one story of like a woman slapped me in the face for something. And I don't remember what I did, but I remember my mother walking me down the hill to her apartment and screaming at her. Because there was like a whole back apartment behind Raritan, what's it called? Raritan River Heights Apartments. There was a parking lot, and all the backs of the apartments were accessible to this part. So I remember my mother screaming at this woman, and I think she had to come out and apologize. But my mother was scary that day. She was fucking so mad that this woman had slapped me in the face.
And so how old are you when you're throwing rocks?
Probably, yes. I moved to North Brunswick in 4th grade, so any of these stories happened before Halloween of 4th grade.
Wow.
And again, I apologize for those of you that have heard these before.
People like them anyway.
Any of these happened before Halloween, before October 4th grade.
You think something really bad happened?
I don't know what.
And
Pig stickers were older. Oh, yeah, I was an adult. I was a teenager. I was 13.
Do you think it was associated with throwing rocks, or do you think it was just around the same time, just something happened?
I don't know. Yeah, it was all at the same time. I don't know. It's all very vague.
Everything gets vague and
cloudy. It's like looking at something through smoke. I can see a little bit, but not much.
Oh, man. I can't wait till the day comes when you stop blocking things out.
I don't even know if it's blocking or if it's just as you get older, what becomes... I don't know.
Maybe you have early onset dementia. Have you ever thought about that?
No, but right now I'm wishing I had it. I'm going to ask my mom about that. I should ask my mother.
About slapping the woman?
Yeah. Oh, we should call her one day and get her on the air.
I would love. I would love to. Yeah, we've got my mom on the air. We should definitely get your mom.
I would.
Yeah, because I want to find out how much of this did she know about? Like the fucking really bad shit that you were doing.
That stuff she didn't know any of it. Again, you had freedom then where you would just go and play and you would just disappear for a few hours and it wasn't odd. Now it's odd.
So she didn't know you would throw a giant metal grate through a window?
No, I don't know how much of that stuff she knew.
I'll tell her.
Well, she must have known something was going on. But I remember even in North Brunswick, me and my buddy Dean, one of my favorite people, and Dean Miller, one of my all-time favorite human beings. He's dead now, unfortunately.
Well...
Dean was a good guy, man. He was really a little. He wasn't slow, but he was just like a basic guy. He walked everywhere and he bopped when he walked. But Dean could walk for hours. Like he literally never got tired. He had the fucking cardio of Cain Velasquez, and he would fucking. We would take rocks in the North Brunswick apartments. And this is when I was like fucking 14. And Dean we would just start throwing rocks through people's windows, and we would run until we got exhausted. And then Dean would pick up a rock and throw it through another window, and we would just keep running. And I could never keep because he was a gazelle, this fucking kid.
So he'd run, he'd break the window, he'd run, and then as you're running, he picks up a rock
and kept doing it. Dude, he never got fucking tired. This cocksucker, never.
And you're like, you gotta stop. I can't keep up with you anymore.
Oh man, I loved him so much. Yeah, he was a fun guy.
That sounds fun, but it's also antisocial.
Yeah, he was awesome.
As all get up.
Yeah, he's the first time I ever drove was his car. He was on acid, and I was making him laugh doing fat jokes about my friend Bill. I remember I was doing rhymes about. I was sober. I didn't drink back then.
And how old were you?
I don't know. I was maybe 13. and I was driving his car at 14, but I wasn't under the influence at the time.
Right. I just love that you have to point out that I was just like, I was 13, and I mean, I was sober at that point.
I don't know or that night I was. I don't know if I did it because I was driving his car.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember. I just remember making him laugh because he was on acid. But he's the best laugher I ever had in my life.
You remember the fat jokes, though?
Some of them.
So you don't remember like the other stuff, but you remember
I only remember one of them.
What was it?
I was just doing rhymes about my friend being fat.
Yeah.
I said, I beg your pardon, but your friend's fatter than Madison Square Garden. And he howled with laughter.
So stupid.
Of course, when you're fucking 13 or 14, you're a genius.
Yeah. And that's when I realized comedy was the life that I wanted to pursue.
Dude, no one ever laughed better than him. He's the greatest. Still my favorite person in history is probably Dean Miller.
Wow.
My favorite person.
Well, I got a lot to live up to then, huh, guys?
Well, yeah, you don't qualify even as a person.
Oh, well, I got a lot to live up to then, huh, guys?
Well, yeah, you don't qualify even as a person.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, he was a good guy, man.
That's great.
He died years and years ago.
What did he die of?
He died of AIDS.
That's right.
Yeah, he was, but he wasn't. He was a drug user.
Yeah.
And he went into the Navy.
Hard to believe.
I know. But he was the first guy I ever met who died of it.
And you've met many since then.
A lot.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I'd love to get your mom on the phone one time.
Yeah,
and just because I want to, could I ask her about when you were crazy? Yeah, I'd love to get your mom on the phone one time.
Yeah,
and just because I want to, could I ask her about when you were in your 20s, living at home and having prostitutes in the driveway?
I don't know. Maybe I don't want to embarrass her. But
Maybe
she has to know.
I'll like gauge the situation.
She has to know. She's a lovely lady. But I mean, we've asked your mom so much crazy shit too. So
it would be a little unfair for you to be like, hey, just don't cross the line.
Well, it's just what was she? This is different between your mom collecting your stuff and me getting blown by somebody who's 8 months pregnant in my dead grandmother's basement.
I always forget that she was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, me and my buddy Larry got a fucking hooker together, and she was 8 months pregnant, and she sparked up a crack pipe. I was sober.
Yeah.
And she sparked up a crack pipe, and my grandmother was dead, so I used to bring hookers into the bedroom where she was.
By the way,
that's true.
That is the plot of the movie Milk Money, except horribly dark.
That's true.
like that is like every 1950s like Stand By Me, like, hey, what if we get our money together and hire a prostitute? Yeah, but she's 8 months pregnant and she's doing crack, and we're in my dead grandmother's basement.
I remember smelling the coke, and my grandmother passed away when I was 19. She had a heart attack, so her bedroom was still down there, and I would have sex in it.
Right.
Eventually, it got converted to like a family
did you have sex
room.
with the pregnant woman while she was on crack?
I think she just blew me. I don't think I fucked her, but I remember.
Have you had sex with a pregnant woman before?
Nah, it's not my thing. I don't remember why we got her. We just did it because back then the pickings were sparse when you were like 20 years old, 19 in New Brunswick. So she sucked our dicks.
Yeah, plus finding somebody you can bring to your grandma's basement.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't want to travel. So she fucking, I don't know if she blew us or not. I don't remember. I think she did. And then she sparked up a crack pipe in what was my grandmother's living room area because she had the whole downstairs of the house.
Yeah. That would really bum me out. Like if I had a kid, right? And I was like, okay, that's my mom's bedroom. My kid hired a prostitute, and she's down there smoking crack in my dead mom's bedroom.
I remember thinking
that really bummed me out.
The smell was going to wake my family. But again, this is 1988 or 89.
What does crack smell like?
It's a hard thing to describe. Mm-hmm. It's like a chemical smell almost. It's a weird. I can't describe it, but when you smell it, it's unmistakable.
Right, and it's strong.
It's a chemical smell, yeah.
It's pungent.
But if you didn't know what it was, you like pot, you kind of know what that smells like. I don't know.
It says,
burnt plastic, an excellent way to describe it.
Is that what it is? This is like it's a mild burnt plastic smell. There's almost a sweet caramel and damp citrus smell depending on what's being smoked.
The plastic is the best way to describe it. I don't know about the other.
That's that chemical thing. That's like almost like gas.
Oh, like
Speaking
Adrian's
of
drop.
gas, yeah.
I'm trying to think there was another one. How crazy it was. I remember when there was this guy, Bill, I knew. Again, a sober guy.
Bill D'Angelo?
No, a different guy. This guy's died. Another guy died of AIDS.
Oh.
And I remember me and him got a prostitute together.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got a prostitute with a guy who died of AIDS?
I didn't know he had AIDS. I didn't know he was HIV
positive. He had AIDS at the time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
He actually died of a heart attack, but he was HIV positive.
Oh, my God.
And we got to hook her together, and she was going to suck our dicks.
Did you tell him that's information I could have used yesterday?
He never told me.
Oh.
I didn't know until after he was dead. But I couldn't get an erection, so I didn't do anything with her. He did. I was supposed to. I remember that. He was in the other room.
Thank God for
and
that
I couldn't
little
get it up.
dick of yours.
Dude, it saved me.
It really did.
And maybe I wouldn't have gotten the virus, but I mean,
you would have.
That would have been a close call.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was in your grandma's basement as well?
No, that was in his apartment in New Brunswick.
Oh.
He was just a buddy.
Do you think he gave the prostitute AIDS?
I don't know what they did, to be really honest. I just don't know.
That's scary, man.
I liked him, though. He's a good dude.
That's scary. Do we have an update on our guest?
He's not signed in yet.
Okay.
Oh.
And I know Roland just said he missed his 9:30 interview, so I don't know where he is.
Was it here?
Yes.
He's 45 minutes late?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not really reliable.
Yeah. Not the best example. You want
Hold
to take?
on. You want to take a break?
Yeah, you want to take a break now instead of
sure
waiting.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Cinnamon brand muffin.
All right, listen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the redundancy of those stories.
They're not.
I wish I could. If I can remember more, I'll tell you more.
Those stories, like, I don't think you get that. Like, those stories are better than anybody else's childhood stories because you were like way worse than you know. I think, like, you were a terrible kid.
I wasn't.
Yes, you were. Like, the things that you did were like this is like serial killer, child molester, that type of thing, rapists. Like, that's their history, and the fact that you're not any of those things, I don't think, like, is kind of amazing. So it's nice.
Yeah, I actually don't like victims sexually at all. I don't like victims in any way. It doesn't turn me on at all.
You spent a lot of time as one.
That's probably why.
Yeah, but
you know what? I told you, Dr. Drew tried to convince me. I did his podcast. He tried to convince me I was molested or abused. But man, we were all the same age, and I was pushing the narrative a lot of the times. I got to accept responsibility. I was a little dick sucker. I wasn't just a victim. Everyone wants to be a victim, and I was telling him no. I mean, maybe by somebody I was, but a lot of times I was a willing participant.
You weren't molested in any of the memories that you have.
Right.
There could be some molestation in there.
Maybe.
But not that you
I
recall.
don't think there was. Maybe one of the kids who showed me how good it felt got touched, and then he passed on that gift to me.
I feel there's got to be some kind of catalyst in all this stuff because it's such
doggalist.
It's such bad behavior. Oh my god. So if our guest just checked in, should we just wait for him?
I mean, can.
Yeah.
How much time will he be up here?
Probably like 2 minutes, right?
Couple minutes, yeah.
Well, he just checked in. It might take him. Where did he check in? Downstairs?
Yeah.
Getting the old elevators might take a seckaroo. Do you want to break? Want to take a single? So
Let's take a single. Go piss. Okay. And we'll be back here on Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. Vincent's out there chatting it up with Roland.
Yes.
Surprised you can understand him at all.
I don't know how he does.
Yeah, I don't know how many guests... so many guests were able to have conversations with Roland. Did you understand what Roland was saying
That's
out
a
there?
great question to start with.
It's so difficult to understand Roland. Vincent D'Onofrio is here.
Our booker, he kind of talks in a mumbled way, but he's great with guests. He'll sit out there and have a 20-minute conversation.
That was Roland out there?
Yeah, the heavy guy. What does he talk
awesome.
about?
No, I was talking and he was listening. And he's a really good listener.
He is, okay.
He is a good listener.
Because he holds people's attention. I'm like, what is he talking about?
He mumbles a lot.
I'll have to get back to you on the talking aspect of him. Because he wasn't really talking.
Okay, he was just listening. He was a good ear.
Very good listener, yeah. He'd make a good husband.
Yeah, I think that's his goal, actually.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Roland.
That's probably the strategy. Well, welcome, man. You're going to be starring in Emerald City.
Yes.
Premiering tomorrow. It's a take on the Wizard of Oz.
I know. It's tomorrow. It's so weird. We've been waiting so long for it to come because we all work so hard.
When did you shoot it?
We shot it last year for Audria Ahone, her name is. She was on it for, I think, 7 or 8 months. I was on it for 5 months.
That's a major commitment.
Yeah, it's 10 hours of content that we shot all at once, like a giant movie.
Wow.
With one director, Tarsem Denoir.
Wasn't it originally wasn't it originally supposed to be done, and then there was a problem with the showrunner, and he wasn't happy with it, and then they swapped
so,
out?
yeah. I didn't have anything to do with it back then, so I don't know the specifics, but yes, I heard that. But these are, hey man, thanks. I was just complimenting you on your...
We were asking what you guys were talking about, because you're so good with talking to guests, and with us, we understand nothing you say.
He said you're a very good listener, Roland.
He said you're a good listener. Oh, thank you. Did he get your order right? I hope no.
Yeah. Terrible listener. Just stands there. But you did it, so you shot it all like one long thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, we had to carry around 10 scripts.
Well, so they gave it to you all at once?
Because we were shooting it out of sequence like you would a movie.
Yeah, so you're on a location, so you shoot all the stuff in the same location.
And the same director. It's not like a regular TV show where a new director does a new script. We had all 10 of them. We had to read all 10 of them and be able to reference all 10 of them on a daily basis for,
Yeah, so what do you do?
Jump around.
Do you memorize,
no.
Scene? You just kind of get the scene?
Well, I jumped in. I thought you were going to say, do you memorize everything of all 10 hours?
Right.
No, you do not.
You just have all 10 episodes in your head.
You have what's called a shooting schedule, much like a schedule you guys probably have here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know days in advance what you're shooting when, and so you usually have 2 or 3 days to get huge scenes under your belt before you in a film before you actually have to do it.
Yeah.
And we've read your obviously we know about you and stuff. And what is it? There's probably a story that is being told incorrectly. What you turned down something on The Sopranos, which I know you've talked about before. What was the reason for it, and what was the role that you turned down?
God, what was the role?
Wait, do we remember what year it was? Was it the
99, 2000 around there?
You know what? I don't know. I don't remember. I remember where I was living, where my wife and I were living, and the reason why I turned it down is I would have had to sell my house to do the show.
That's a major commitment. Speaking of commitment,
no, it's like,
why would you have had to sell your house to do the show?
Because we wouldn't have been able to afford it. we were living on Avenue B. We got a really good deal on an apartment in the Christodora building on Avenue B, and but I couldn't have worked any other job. So that's all. The amount that they were going to pay me was just not enough for me to sustain my life. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have to sell my house and get an apartment to be able to afford to live in New York.
Was it a regular role? Like, was it like recurring, or was it like a once in
I'm trying to think. There was an actor that did it who was really great. And
was it a cop? Was that what you were going to?
Yeah, was Steve Buscemi in the show?
Yes.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, that was like season. Oh, that was like that played Tony's cousin. That was like you were already really famous by then, though. That was.
Well, yeah, I was a working actor. Yeah.
That was
season 4. So that would have been like that was like an arc. That was like a full season arc. And I guess just to do that.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he said to me, Chase. We talked on the phone. And he said a new character. He didn't say anything about how short it was going to be long. He just said it was a new character, and it wasn't like a big deal. It's like they weren't terribly upset that I said no or anything. Just somebody asked me one day, and I told him I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it. I actually told him that. I said I would love to do this. I just can't afford to do it. You're going to have to come up a little bit on the money.
And they couldn't.
And they couldn't, and I couldn't because I'm not kidding. I would have had to change my lifestyle, and we were just gonna have our first, my first boy, and I couldn't have done it.
Did you work right after Full Metal Jacket? Sorry,
no.
Like was it hard to see? Was anything but that?
Well, I didn't work until I lost all the weight that I gained on it, and then I did Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, you went on a string of like pretty iconic. You did Mystic Pizza, you did Adventures in Babysitting, like all these movies that kind of. Do you have any idea when you're doing a movie like that it's going to live forever? Like those, like I'd say that those 3 in that era absolutely have lived forever.
I think I'm terrible at it. Actually,
you don't like it?
No, I like them. Both of those movies, I like them. No, I think I'm terrible at picking things that I mean, honestly, I've changed my reasons for doing stuff. When I was a kid, I just used to do it because either I thought it was really cool or there were girls involved or like, it was like a challenge, like I was scared of it, so maybe I should do it. Like it created a fear in me.
Totally.
So maybe I should face it and do it. But I've changed, we all grow up and we become different people, so to speak. And so my reasons for doing stuff now have changed. And so I'd like to say that I'm better at it now. I choose things because of material, because of who's involved, and not just the character that I'm playing, but the whole event.
How long were you a bodyguard for?
Oh, for a long time.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Oh, okay, you are bigger than I thought. And so you did that before you acted or while you acted to kind of supplement your work?
When I did Full Metal Jacket, I went back to work at the Hard Rock Cafe when it was on 57th Street back in the day when Danny Aykroyd owned it and all those people before it went public. Just before it went public, and I used to do bodyguard work for them.
So
I was still doing it.
So you were doing like for Robert Plant, not just that night, but you actually would.
No. There was one night I just did one evening with him, yeah. And but I used to do for so many people. I even did Yul Brynner on Broadway, his last show when he died. I was doing that. Me and a couple other guys were doing that show. We would watch him all night and go pick him up and take him home and stuff like that.
And as a guy who's like obviously pursuing acting, like were you so into it that you just wanted to be around it so that if you weren't acting you could at least bodyguard and be a part of it, or was it just?
No, I'm not really. I see what you're saying. No, I'm not really that kind of actor. I don't. You
don't need to be around it all the time.
No, I didn't back then either. It was really good money.
Yeah. Did you know how to fight, or were you just a big guy? Like, did you have training in terms of hand-to-hand combat?
I'm not gonna. You're gonna have to challenge me to find out.
Is that right?
Yeah. I'll just say that I'm not, and then if you want to fight in the back or something, we can.
Wait, did you have any? Like,
That's a great
did you have any fights when you were doing that, or I guess not like being a big guy is a deterrent, and people just
the
don't.
only way that you'll ever find out if I actually had fights is by knowing if I'm a good fighter, and you'd have to fight me to find that out.
Right.
I don't want to fight you. No, I enjoy your work too much.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And you're bigger. If you're smaller.
I don't
want to
fight you. By the way, I don't want to fight you guys.
Yeah, no.
You guys asked.
I'm going to just assume whether or not you're a good fighter and just leave it at that, because I don't need to fight. I don't need to find out.
Exactly.
I'll ask. I don't need to know.
And I don't need to tell you.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to get hit. That would be a great story though if you just smack me in the face. Yeah. You know how happy the fans would be.
If I stepped up to. Yeah. Let's find out.
I've been in this building before where I wanted to smack a guy in the face.
Why?
Really?
What happened?
One of the guys, he's not working here anymore. They set me up for this for the wiener thing.
Who set you up?
I don't want to say their names.
Okay.
There's 2 of them, and they had some like kind of provocative show here.
That was in this room. I was sitting next to you when that happened. What happened? I know what you're talking about. Andrew Breitbart was here. You were our guest. Andrew was the guest too. He'd never been on. It was Opie.
It wasn't in this room. It was a bigger room.
No, it was this room. They've actually changed it.
Oh, okay.
It's been redesigned. And what happened was Andrew Breitbart, for anyone who didn't know, had this photo of Wiener's dick that he said he was never going to release. We had never seen it. We had never interviewed Andrew on this show. I had just known him from some
on
news
that show.
On that show, sorry.
Yeah.
So then he's passing the picture around, and there was some sort of a Pal Talk camera, which is like a social interaction thing. And it was either Oprah or Anthony had held it up to the camera to show them. Somebody screen grabbed it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, none of us knew this in the room.
No.
So nobody set you up. They really weren't doing it for that reason. We left after that.
They set me up.
You think so?
Opie and Anthony? No, they didn't.
Oh, they absolutely did.
100% wrong. I'll tell you why. I went and did an interview with Tom Papa.
They absolutely did.
I did an interview with Tom Papa. He's a comedian who interviewed me for something. And then I came back out, and then they were saying, I can't believe those guys tweeted the picture. I can't believe those guys tweeted. That's how I found out they had tweeted
What
the
makes
photo.
you think they set you up?
Well, because the way they edited it, the video,
right?
It looked like, and they said the headline was that I came out. I brought him out into trouble, whatever it was. Online, that's what they did. And they edited it to make it look like I'm the one that originally said there's a photo of the penis with Wiener.
Oh, I get it. So like that's the.
But who did the video? Was that?